Coming to you live from Herman Brothers Field here in Palmer, Alaska. It's the Mat-Su Miners taking on the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinook in Game 2 of the Top of the World Playoff Series. Now on the mound is a former Major Leaguer, Ron Hunt. Hunt, former Major League second baseman who played for the LA Dodgers, San Francisco Giants, Montreal Expos, St. Louis Cardinals, and most importantly, to our general manager, Pete Christopher, the New York Mets. Ron is Pete's childhood idol, and they have become great pals. And fun fact about Ron Hunt, in 1971, Ron set the single-season record for being hit by more pitches, 50, than any other player since 1900. So Ron Hunt, a major leaguer, throwing the first pitch to begin this game here at Herman Brothers Field. We'll run through the visiting team's starting lineup, and for today's game, the visiting team is the Mat-Su Miners, as this is Game 2 of the Top of the World Playoff Series. So we'll run through. Conequiggle leads things off out of Grand Canyon University. Batting second, Caleb Van Blake from UC Davis. Batting third is Spencer Henson out of Oral Roberts University. Batting fourth, the cleanup man, Austin Pianarini from Gonzaga. Nick Brooks, he bats fifth, also from Gonzaga. Out of Mississippi State, Josh Hatcher, he's batting sixth. Batting seventh, Danny Wright out of Southeast Missouri. Batting eighth, Tyler Bassetti from University of Reno. And from Arizona State, the shortstop, batting ninth, Drew Swift. On the mound for the Mat-Su Miners, Ian Churchill out of Santa Barbara City College, and the manager, Ben Taylor. Pitching coach, Jeff Verlob. Assistant coach, Tyler Brunn. The general manager, Pete Christopher. And assistant general manager, Bob Plumley. Connor Mills, Brad Walker with you, as we have been all season long. And on the mound for the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks, the home team today is Jared Rick Ladis out of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Rick Ladis on the season has a 2-3 record, a 2.67 regular season ERA in 10 games started, has pitched 60 2/3 of an inning, 53 strikeouts to 15 walks, and has allowed 47 hits. We're about ready to start some Mat-Su Miners baseball, as Conequiggle will stand in at the plate. Kona on the regular season, he batted .309, had 51 hits in ABL best in 165 at-bats, 19 RBIs, 18 walks, 33 strikeouts to start off the season. Right now, here we go. Jared Rick Ladis. First pitch onto Conequiggle. Swung on, and this one's lifted out into left field, ranging towards the foul line is the left fielder Brian Pope, but he will run out of room as he could not get it in time. On one, the count to Conequiggle.
And definitely showed the inexperience there in the outfield from Brian Pope. Typically a pitcher, but having to play a position, especially in the outfield with the Chinooks, without, regardless, probably their best outfielder and center fielder, Anthony Forte, who pulled his hamstring in yesterday's ball game.
Again, Conequiggle at the plate. Count is at no balls and 1 strike. Rick Ladis from the windup. He deals. Taken inside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Scoreboard is out again here at Herman Brothers Field, but that's all right. We'll be keeping balls and strikes up here in the press box. The 1-1 taken on the outside corner for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Conequiggle. Against the Chinooks this season, Kona has 15 hits in 47 at-bats, batting .319. One of the best against the Chinooks. As the 1-2 is taken high and away, a breaking ball from Rick Ladis. Count evens itself out at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And that's not a good spot to miss your breaking ball up in the zone. That's normally a hitter's paradise, but a little too high for Kona to swing.
The 2-2 swung on and found straight back and down into the dirt, as the on-deck batter Caleb Van Blake will get the foul ball. 2-2, the count remains to Conequiggle. And for Kona, had 2 hits in yesterday's game. Went 2 for 4, had 2 RBIs. As he swings, and ground ball just near the bag, but it's going to be called foul by third base umpire Scott Johnston. Just fouls. That took a couple hops in an unfavorable way for Conequiggle.
Yeah, if that ball was any more near the ground, it would have definitely hit the third base bag. But unfortunately for Kona, just a hair to the left, and he'll have to step back in the batter's box. But good 2-strike hitting right here from Kona, protecting well anything near the zone he's taking a hack at.
2 balls and 2 strikes is the count to Quiggle at the plate. Quiggle, the left-hand batter, changed up his stance, and the 2-2 is check swing. Scott Johnson, third base umpire, said he did not go around. So Quiggle stays alive. A favorable call for Kona Quiggle. He'll be thanking Scott Johnston a little bit later today. Rekledis again from the windup. The 2-2 swung on, a hot shot, couple bouncing balls over out into right field. That gets down for the first hit of the game. Kona Quiggle on first with the leadoff hit.
Really nice leadoff at-bat there from Kona Quiggle. The Miners struggled real early in the ball game yesterday, but the man to break things was Kona Quiggle with a 2-run home run. So nice to see he can do it on his first at-bat rather than his second like yesterday. And it's going to be important for the Miners to get off to a hot start.
Miners got their leadoff man on base in Quiggle, and now Caleb Van Blake will stand in. Van Blake batted .275 during the regular season, had 25 hits in 91 at-bats. As the first pitch from the stretch is swung on, and this one's hit a long way out into left field, ranging out near the line, and making the basket catch is Brian Pope. Again, Brian Pope, normally a pitcher, has been converted into an outfielder after Anthony Forte went down with a hamstring issue in yesterday's game.
And the Miners will definitely be knowing that they should try to hit the ball towards left field to see what Pope's made of. He's sort of 1 for 2 right now. It seemed like that was a possible catch ball in foul territory on Kona Quiggle, and it came back to bite the Chinooks, but nevertheless made a nice play there.
So now Spencer Henson comes to the plate, .336 during the regular season. 49 hits in 146 at-bats as a runner at first here in the top of the first inning. Spencer Henson looking to do some damage against Jared Rekledis, who checks over to Quiggle, who's backsliding. A lot of work went into the field before the game. Rain was coming down in Palmer, and assistant coach Tyler LeBrun and others were able to get the field in tip-top shape, ready for the 6 o'clock start. First pitch into Spencer Henson is taken on the inside corner for a called strike, 0-1.
Definitely tip your cap to Tyler LeBron and then the rest of the Miners helping out with the field, because it was basically pouring all day long here in Palmer. They were constantly feeding it that dry dirt and then just raking it, and it looks really good right now.
Second pitch is a breaking ball that just missed, maybe a little outside, maybe a little low. 1-1 the count. For Spencer in yesterday's game, went 1 for 4, batting .250 in the postseason. Did score a run and had a stolen base. As this one is swung on, and it's a slow roller up the line towards third base. Spencer Henson with the wheels moving and safe. Spencer Henson legs out an infield single. He's smiling now. Something that Henson has not done during the regular season. He has just done an infield single, almost like a swinging bunt.
Yeah, I tell you what, Spencer Henson got that ball with the very tippity top of the bat as he thought it was going to be fouled, and then he looked, he's like, oh no, it's in fair play. But excellent job of hustling down the line, as that was a tough play from Rekledis to even have the throw somewhat close because it was so close to the foul line. Nevertheless, great hustle. And the Miners, the hot start we talked about, they're having it right here.
And just to go back to Spencer Henson, 6'2", 230 pounds. He can move as a line drive out into right field. That gets down for a base hit. Holding at second and rounding third, but holding will be Kona Quiggle. Quiggle had a hold at second base because he didn't know if the second baseman, Luke Vandover, was going to be able to make the catch. It was a line drive out into right field, but the bases are loaded now for Nick Brooks.
And this is definitely the guy you want at the plate in this situation. A guy that really drives the ball deep, may not get a hit or hit it out of the park every single time, but if you can get a sacrifice fly, get on the board early, that's what the Miners are looking to do.
Brooks, again for the regular season, 12 hits and 47 at-bats, batted .255 and had an on-base percentage of .375. He bats in with 1 out here in the top of the first inning. Bases are loaded. Kona Quiggle on third, Spencer Henson at second. And on first base is Austin Pinarini. First pitch is taken low in the dirt for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes is the count to Nick Brooks with 1 out here. And for Brooks, he had a home run in yesterday's game. Probably a big reason why the scoreboard is broken, as it's off again today. People behind the scenes are working diligently to try to get that up and running, but it's not going to be for today's game as Rekledis missed low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes to Nick Brooks.
For the Miners, this is their 4th time seeing Rekledis. So for some Miners, it's the 8th, 9th time stepping in the batter's box against him. Whereas Brooks, it's only about his 3rd or 4th. But nevertheless, they know what he's going to bring to the table, and they worked at it.
Bases are loaded, top of the first inning. Nick Brooks at the plate. Reclatus' pitch is swung on, bouncing ball through the hole on the left side. 1-1 will score. Spencer Henson rounding third. He's heading for home. The throw will not be cut off, and the tag is applied in time. Spencer Henson gets thrown out at the plate, but Nick Brooks, an RBI single, puts the Mat-Su Miners above the Chinooks here in the top of the first, 1-0.
And Spencer Henson was not in agreement with that call. He did not believe that Fullerton made the tag at the plate. Unfortunately, with no replay in the ABL, we won't be able to tell, but it's nice to see that the Miners hop on the board early in this game.
Miners 1, Chinooks nothing. Chinooks have not come to the plate yet, even though we're here at Herman Brothers Field. The Chinooks, they're the home team, as it's the second game in the top of the playoff series. First pitch swinging is Josh Hatcher. He fouls it off. 0-1. For Josh Hatcher on the season, 15 hits and 54 at-bats, batting .278. In the postseason, had 2 hits in yesterday's game, good for a .500 average. Easy math there. As the fastball from Reclatus misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Hatcher against the Chinooks this season probably has the best batting average on the Miners against the Chinooks, batting .461, 6 hits and 13 at-bats. Has 1 RBI, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts as he swings and a high chopper over to the first base coach Tyler Brunn, who throws it into the dugout. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count, as the Miners have a 1-0 lead over the Chinooks here in the ballgame. Jared Reclatus pitching from the stretch. He deals into Josh Hatcher, who swings and misses at this pitch for strike 3. Reclatus gets his first strikeout on the day, but not before Nick Brooks helps the Miners have a 1-0 lead as we enter the bottom of the first inning. Miners 1, Chinooks come to the plate. When we return here on Mat-Su Miners Radio.
Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
The Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Bottom of the first inning, and we'll run through the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks lineup. For the Chinooks, leading things off is Bailey Collins out of Concordia University of Irvine. Batting second, J. Paul Furlington out of Wabash Valley College. Batting third, Jordan Wharton out of Indiana Wesleyan University. Out of Harding University, the cleanup batter, Luke Vandover. Batting fifth from Arkansas Pine Bluff, Nick Kreitzer. Batting sixth from Wayland Baptist University, Gregory Osuna. Batting seventh, Michael Barker from Vanguard University. Batting eighth, Brian Pope out of California Baptist University. And rounding things out at the bottom, the designated hitter, Andrew Almquist from Miami University of Ohio. On the mound for the Chinooks in the top of the first was Jared Reclatus. On the mound for the Mat-Su Miners right now, Ian Churchill out of Santa Barbara City College. The Chinooks head coach, John Groth, pitching coach, Chris Beck. Jordan Getzelman, assistant coach, as well as Dalton Smith. Kevin Moore, the counterpart in the broadcast booth right next to us. Bailey Collins will lead things off for the Chinooks here in the bottom of the first inning at Herman Brothers Fields. A lefty-on-lefty matchup. Churchill's first pitch hits the outside corner for a called strike. Collins, .255 batter during the regular season, 42 hits and 165 at-bats, as Churchill's off-speed pitch also hits the outside corner. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Miners scored 1 on a Nick Brooks RBI single, as this one is swung on and fouled off towards the right side. Count remains at no balls and 2 strikes to Bailey Collins. Churchill pitching from the windup, a long stare into his catcher, Austin Pianarini. He's ready and deals. Checked his swing. Ball's a little high for the first ball in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Churchill, his name of the game is getting ahead early and really pounding the strike zone.
Churchill, swing and a miss for strike 3. First strikeout on the day for Ian Churchill comes to the first batter of the Chinooks, Bailey Collins. Great way to start off the day.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself, partner. Churchill just really got ahead early, 0-2, and anytime you can do that as a pitcher, it's really your count to mess with. And Churchill, excellent job of mixing it up, throwing in a breaking ball, covered up with a fastball.
J. Paul Fullerton now will stand in. Fullerton, regular season stats, .273 batter, 36 hits, and 132 at-bats, as he's first pitch swinging for strike 1. For Fullerton, a lot of Chinooks have left already this season, as he's been doing the majority of the catching all season long, as he now swings and fouls us and off towards the left side. No balls and 2 strikes. It's kind of tough when the catcher has to know he's going to be in that lineup day in and day out behind the plate.
Yeah, exactly, but if you want to make it in the major leagues, you're going to have to get used to it if you want to be an everyday guy.
Taken on the outside corner, just a bit outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You really can't see, can you?
Swing here and a high towering ball behind home plate. Austin Pianarini eyes it up and backtracks all the way into fair territory to make the catch. A great catch by Austin Pianarini. And as you can hear from the crowd, Mike, it's a lively crowd here at Herman Brothers Fields. Not at full capacity yet, as there is some people still walking in. There's some rain early on in the day, as now Jordan Wharton will stand in. Wharton batting .245, 38 hits, 155 at-bats. So he takes the first pitch from Ian Churchill, high and away for ball 1.
That was a real tough catch from Austin Pianarini. He kept coming back towards the infield. Always real tough to make a catch behind the plate.
The 1-0 was taken inside. Moving back was the batter, Jordan Wharton. 2 straight balls from Ian Churchill to Wharton. Wharton does have 15 RBIs, 25 walks to 44 strikeouts. As now the 2-0 is taken high and away. 3 straight balls from Churchill into Wharton. In yesterday's game for Jordan Wharton, went 2 for 4, had 2 RBIs, as it's now a walk, the first walk allowed by Churchill. Wharton reaches base as the first Chinook to do so. Luke Vandover will be the next batter. Vandover batting .236, has 33 hits and 140 at-bats. 8 doubles to his name, 12 RBIs as well. As Churchill pitches from the stretch for the first time, it's first pitch swinging, fouling off towards the right side. That will go out of play. 0-1 is the count.
Churchill, always rare to see him walk guys on 4 straight pitches, and you saw he brought it right back with a strike.
Second pitch from Churchill is a breaking ball that hits the outside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Churchill looking to get his second strikeout of the day. The 0-2 swung on, and this one's popped up out into right field in foul territory. Ranging over and sliding, making the beautiful play, is the second baseman, Caleb Van Blake. The hair is flowing, the hat was knocked off by the wind, but Van Blake, he's got the ball, and the third and final out in the bottom of the first inning. For the Chinooks, a 1-2-3-4 inning for Ian Churchill, as now the Matsu Miners will come back to the plate in the top of the second. Miners 1, Chinooks 0 when we return.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Jared Rickledis returns to the mound after he allowed 1 run in the top of the first inning. It's now the top of the second. Danny Wright will lead things off, the switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri. Danny Wright on the season, 27 hits and 104 at-bats, batted .260. Had 5 RBIs, walked 11 times, and struck out 17. As a first pitch from the windup from Rickledis is taken on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Against the Chinooks this season, Danny Wright has 5 hits, 31 at-bats, batting .161, does have an RBI, as the second pitch misses low and away for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Danny Wright. And for Wright on the season at 3 doubles. He takes this one inside. 2 straight balls from Jared Rickledis. 2 balls and 1 strike is the count. 3 doubles, 1 triple, no home runs, but Danny Wright showcased his power in the showcase game during the midway point in the season. Rickledis missed outside with the fastball. Now he'll ask for a new ball from the home plate umpire, Josh Nolan. Running through the defensive alignment for the Chinooks, Brian Pope in left field, Bailey Collins in center, Michael Barker in right field. As Danny Wright, a high bouncer over to Nick Kreitzer, the first baseman, who'll take it himself for the first out here on the top of the second inning. 1 away, and Tyler Bassetti coming to the plate. Tyler Bassetti on the season has 32 hits and 133 at-bats, batting .241. Against the Chinooks, batting .161 as well, 4 RBIs, 4 walks, and has 11 strikeouts. Rickledis' first pitch into Tyler Bassetti is taken on the outside corner for a called strike. Bassetti has been one of those players every day that manager Ben Taylor has run out. 42 games played during the regular season as this breaking ball bends right over the head of Tyler Bassetti.
Geez, talk about missing just a bit inside. That one rainbowed over the head of Tyler Bassetti.
Not a good feel for the curveball for Jared Rickledis. The 1-1 swung on and fouled straight back. Count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bassetti had 11 doubles, 1 triple, and 2 home runs during the regular season. 21 walks to 29 strikeouts, and did steal 4 bases. He looks to reach on the postseason for the first time as he swings a slow roller over towards the third baseman, Jordan Wharton, who throws it on a hop for the second out in the top of the second. A good play from Wharton to get the speedy Tyler Bassetti, as now there are 2 away in the top of the second inning, and Drew Swift standing in.
And Rickledis is really good at that, getting these Miners hitters to roll over into ground ball outs. And that was something the Miners worked on in batting practice, really lifting the ball and try to get it past the infield.
Drew Swift, shortstop today. The first pitch is swung on. Ground ball off the glove of Jordan Wharton. Swift racing towards first. The throw is offline. A jump from Nick Kreitzer, but Drew Swift will reach with an infield single. A great job from Swift. A hard ball and a tough play from Jordan Wharton to make. Diving towards the foul line, ball bounced out of his glove, and then the throw just a tad offline, but Swift, of course, with that speed, was able to beat the throw.
Yeah, real nice hit there from Drew Swift. Turned on it quite nicely, squared it up. Wharton, nice job getting the leather on it. Unfortunately, couldn't quite make the transition quickly in the throw to first.
Kona Quiggle back to the plate. He reached in the first inning with a single. First pitch from Reclatus missed low and inside for ball one. For Kona, the single went around to score, as that's the game's only run. Miners 1, Chinooks nothing. With a runner on first base, Reclatus is careful, as Drew Swift did have 14 stolen bases during the regular campaign. From the stretch, Reclatus is ready. The throw goes back to Drew Swift, who's back by a hair, sliding head first.
Swift seemed almost conflicted whether to run back to the bag or dive, and that half second of thinking almost costed him an out.
1-0 the count to Kona Quiggle. And again, another check over to Drew Swift. This time he runs back. 3 straight lookovers from Reclatus to Swift at first. 1-0 is the count to Quiggle as a pitch is delivered. This time Quiggle did go through. 1-1 the count.
And we saw this yesterday with Swift on first. He's just so fast that these Chinook pitchers are going to try to keep him as close as possible and keep throwing over, especially for Reclatus. A right-hander, it's hard to keep the runner at home.
And again, just like you said, Reclatus checking over to Drew Swift. Swift has not stolen a base yet this postseason, but again, very speedy on the base paths. 14 stolen bases in 18 attempts. As now he's moving in a swing and a fly ball deep out into center field, but ranging back and making the catch is Bailey Collins for the third and final out in the top of the second. For the Miners, they go down 1-2-3-4. Drew Swift with the only single and hit in the inning, but they still hold a lead over the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks by a score of 1-0. We'll be back with the bottom of the second when we return here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
UltimatePartyFoul.org.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the second inning. Miners hold a 1-0 lead in an elimination game for the Chinooks. It's a win or go home for the home team, even though we're playing here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska, instead of Lee Jordan Field. When at home, the Chinooks have a record of 13-9, but on the road, they do not fare as well. 5 wins and 18 losses. First pitch into Nick Kreitzer, missed for a ball. Ian Churchill on the mound again, as this one is roped down the line into right field, but just foul. Brad Polk on the call. That one again rolls all the way back to the fence, a foul ball.
And that could have been a real dangerous hit. Luckily for the Miners, it was just a touch foul because that would have been an easy stand-up double for Kreitzer.
Talking to pitching coach Jeff Erlab before the game, his one job is to try to figure out how to get out Nick Kreitzer. We'll see if he found the success and relayed it on to Ian Churchill as a breaking ball hits the outside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes is a count to Nick Kreitzer. And for Kreitzer on the season, batting .236 has 17 RBIs as he swings through this one. Second strikeout on the day for Ian Churchill, and Nick Kreitzer strikes out to begin things here in the bottom of the second inning.
Well, I guess they figured it out, didn't they? Getting
did.
Kreitzer to swing through. And it also helps that it's going to be a lefty-on-lefty matchup for the most of Kreitzer's at-bats facing Churchill, so that'll already have the upper hand for the Miners.
Gregory Osuna, the regular day shortstop for the Chinooks, stands in. He's going to try a bunt, but it is foul-tipped straight into the glove of the catcher, Austin Pinarini. And with that, we'll run through the Miners' defensive alignment. Danny Wright is out in left field. Kona Quiggle in center. Nick Brooks in right. Infield from left to right. Tyler Bassetti, Drew Swift, Caleb Van Blake, and Josh Hatcher. Osuna swings through the Churchill fastball. 2 straight strikes as the count is at no balls and 2 strikes.
Definitely look to try to get Ozuna chasing a guy that led the ABL in strikeouts.
The 0-2. Breaking ball missed outside for the first ball and count, 1-2. Osuna, 13 RBIs, 3 walks, and has struck out 44 times, and not great strikeout to walk ratios. He swings and fouls one off towards the right side and out of play.
No, not at all, but a guy that is very quick, so when he does get the ball in play, it's always a tough out.
The 1-2 from Churchill is swung on and missed, strike 3. A good pitch from Churchill to get Gregory Osuna chasing. 3rd strikeout for Church, as now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning.
Churchill, I mentioned, always pounds the strike zone. He was 5th in the ABL in strikeouts, so he continues the regular season success into the postseason.
So far, so good for Ian Churchill, as first pitch to Michael Barker, a pitcher turned outfielder, is outside for a ball. For Michael Barker, though, in yesterday's game, he found his way on base twice, both coming via the hit. As we talked about in the pregame, as Brad said, pitchers usually the best hitters during the Little League seasons going through until they convert to POs, pitcher-onlys. A bunt from Michael Barker is pulled back for a ball. 3 straight balls from Churchill to Barker, as the count is at 3-0.
And going back to that thought, so it's definitely something that they're not used to. It's just been a while, and it's just an adjustment period.
Fastball hits the outside corner on Barker. 3-1 the count.
And that was almost exactly like the first inning after Churchill getting the first 2 outs, walking a guy on 4 pitches.
Swing and a foul ball straight back over the press box. Count is run full to Michael Barker. Should Barker extend the inning, Brian Pope is on deck, and for Pope it would be his first at-bat. As a 3-2 is taken on the outside corner, strike 3 called. Churchill strikes out the side here in the bottom of the second inning. Top of the 3rd coming up next. It's the Miners 1, Chinooks nothing here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Caleb Van Blake, Spencer Henson, and Austin Pinarini all due up in the top of the 3rd inning. Again, it's a little weird to say the Miners are up in the top half of an inning, as we are coming to you live from Herman Brothers Field. It's Game 2 of the top of the World Playoff Series. Being the 1 seed, the Miners get home field advantage in quotes in the 1st and 3rd games, should a 3rd game be played. And then the away team gets the home field advantage in the middle game. as is the case here with the Chinooks, as the first pitch bounces to the plate into J. Paul Fullerton, taken low by Caleb Van Blake. Van Blake ahead in the count, 1 ball and no strikes. Second pitch is taken on the inside corner for a called strike, 1-1. For Van Blake against the Chinooks, batting an even .300, 6 hits and 20 at-bats, has 6 RBIs, has not walked yet, and has struck out 3 times as he takes the ball inside for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike to Van Blake at the plate.
For the Miners, now second time going through the order, important to try to keep the bats rolling.
The 2-1 from Rick Latus hits the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Infield alignment for the Chinooks, Jordan Warren at third, Gregory Osuna at short, Luke Vandover is the man at second base, and Nick Kreitzer at first. On the mound is Jared Ricklitis, and behind the plate, J. Paul Fullerton. The 2-2 delivery is swung on and missed for strike 3. Second strikeout for Rick Latus, as that's the first out in the top of the 3rd inning. Spencer Henson now coming to the dish. Spence in his first at-bat had a single, an infield single. 6'2", 230 pounds, and Henson can really move.
Yeah, he can. He has this deceptive speed, and it really showed on that infield single, and also really shows the hustle of Spencer Henson.
First pitch from Ricklitis into Henson's a breaking ball that hits the outside corner. 0-1. For Henson against the Chinooks, 15 hits in 35 at-bats, batting .428 against the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks as he takes another breaking ball, this time blown away. 1 ball and 1 strike. Henson, 9 RBIs, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts against Chugiak. As he swings, and this is a drive down the line into right field, and slicing foul. Just foul. Near the sign of 322. Brad Polk again right on the line, making the correct call.
Yeah, it was scorched right off the bat of Henson, but just like Kreitzer's hit, just barely misses to the right of the right field line, so Spencer will have to get back in the box, but expect possibly another big hit like that from Spencer, who's got a lot of pop in the bat.
A lot of pop indeed, as he hit 7 outs during the regular season, tied for first with the Oilers' Ryan Cook for the lead in home runs. Both were tied at 7. Spencer Henson has not hit a home run yet in the postseason, as now the 1-2 is swung on and a slow roller down the foul line as that rolls foul. Spencer did play the majority of the games for the Miners, even though he was not here at the start. Did play 37. So he's seeing a lot of at-bats and a lot of time. As this one is swung on, ground ball this time towards the left side. Bouncing ball foul.
Henson
Count remains at 1-2.
Henson a bit ahead of that pitch. Really just needs to buckle in and try to time it up as he fouled the one prior over to the right side, and this time to the left. Will really look to time it up on this pitch.
1 ball and 2 strikes as a count into Spencer Henson. As Spencer looks to reach base for the second time here in the top of the 3rd. The pitch outside for ball 2. Good eyes for Spencer, as that was a good-looking fastball from up here.
Yeah, it was, and that part of the plate has been called strikes, so well in that area, so interesting Henson took.
The 2-2, taken low and away again. Count is run full to Spencer Henson and Jared Ricklitis. Ricklitis did not walk a lot of batters during the regular season, only 15. He also led the ABL in strikeouts with 53. As he deals from the windup here, the 3-2 is swung on and fouled off towards the right side as that goes out of play. Count remains full to Spencer Henson, who's worked a deep count. 8 pitches deep into the at-bat. Really working Jared Ricklitis. From the windup, Ricklitis is ready, and he pitches. Swung on, ground ball over towards third, through the hole, towards the left side for the second hit of the day. Spencer Henson, 2 for 2. As that's a ball that bounced right over the glove of third baseman Jordan Wharton. And play that maybe we see Tyler Bassetti make, or maybe Drew Swift if he's at third, but Wharton just didn't have the range to get the hot shot off the bat of Spencer Henson.
Real unfortunate for Wharton. I mean, he put his glove down, and normally when you do that, it's guaranteed to hit in there, but anytime it hits a rock and hops over it, there's just nothing you can do about it.
There's one out as this ball is ground ball over towards the hole, through the hole on the right side. Henson goes from first to third. The throw will be into the second baseman, Luke Van Dover. Runners at the corners for the Matsu Miners here in the top of the third inning with still only one out.
Excellent base running right there from Spencer Henson. Did not look back to see where that ball was getting to right field, just looking at Ben Taylor where his hands were, and he was not moving them, so Henson hustled all the way over to third.
Second straight at bat for Austin Pianarini that he swung at the first pitch and also had a hit towards the right side as now Nick Brooks looks to do more damage.
As part of the order is really giving Jared Rickladis trouble as Brooks came up in a similar situation with the RBI in his last at-bat, so looked to do the same to possibly extend the lead.
Nick Brooks at the plate. Miners up 1-0 with a chance to do more runs here. First pitch is a breaking ball that misses low and inside to Brooks. 1 ball and no strikes. Pianarini's on first, Spencer Henson at third. And for Brooks, he hit in Kona Quiggle back in the top of the first inning. Brooks is the only RBI on the day. From the stretch, Rickladis' pitch is taken on the outside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count. Light crowd on hand here at Harmon Brothers Fields. Weather not so great, cloudy. Temperatures around in the 50s with slight showers. As the 1-1 from Rickladis to Brooks. Low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And going to be interesting what kind of pitches they give Brooks here, if they try to go back in the zone or if they try to pitch around and get him to chase at one.
Brooks a hitter's count. 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch swung on, a bouncing ball in foul territory towards the left side and over near the Chinooks dugout. Against the Chinooks this season for Brooks, batting .250, had 5 hits, 3 RBIs, no walks, and struck out 5 times. Something that Brooks hopes not to do here against the regular season strikeout leader in Jared Rickladis. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count. Rickladis to Brooks, taken outside and low for ball 3. Rickladis coming off the mound and looking at home plate umpire Josh Nolan like, where was that pitch? Just did not get it.
Yeah, exactly. He's gotten that call a few times before, but not getting it here. So nice job of Nick Brooks really working the count and trying to make Rickladis work to get him out.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at the corners with only 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. The throw over to Austin Pianarini is not in time as Pino gets a little dirty over at first. We'll do it again. The payoff pitch to Brooks is taken for a ball. The check down to first. And Brad Polk says Nick Brooks did not go. So the bases are loaded for Josh Hatcher.
So real nice at-bat there for Nick Brooks, working the full count, taking pitches when need be, and now loading the bases up yet again for a hot bat in Josh Hatcher, who had 2 hits yesterday.
Josh Hatcher, the Miners player of the game yesterday. 2 hits, a single, and a triple. As Hatcher looks to tack on some RBIs now. First pitch from Rickladis into Josh Hatcher, missed high and away. And Rickladis cannot walk Josh Hatcher. There's nowhere to put him. On third is Spencer Henson. Second base, Austin Pianarini. And Nick Brooks, who just reached base on a walk, is on first. Josh Hatcher at the plate. Rickladis on the mound. Swing and a miss from Hatcher. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Hatcher in yesterday's game had 2 hits, batted .500. Against the Chinooks, 6 hits, batting .461 on the season. Had the triple and struck out 1 time as well as he swings through this fastball from Rickladis. Jared Rickladis quickly ahead on Josh Hatcher. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
If you're Hatcher, you just want to put something in play. With the bases loaded, you never know what can happen. The Chinooks with the most errors in the ABL this past season, so make them earn the out.
1-2 the count. Reclatus' pitch. Taken inside, and the ball hits the kneecap, it sounded like, of Josh Hatcher. Hatcher hit by a pitch, and that sounded like a thud. It didn't sound like a pat.
No, it definitely sounds like there's going to be a bruise on it possibly tomorrow. Josh Hatcher is not excited about it at all, chucking his bat to the dugout, but he will have an RBI credited to his name. Miners add to the lead.
A painful way to get on base for Josh Hatcher is now the pitching coach, Chris Beck, for the Chinooks will take a walk out to Jared Reclatus. Miners now have a 2-0 lead here in the top of the third inning, thanks to a hit by pitch from Josh Hatcher with the bases loaded. Danny Wright is the next batter up for the Miners. He is 0 for 1 on the day, a ground ball to first base for a 3 unassisted. Only one out here in the top of the third as Miners again leading 2-0. Mound meeting over between Chris Beck and the Chinooks ace, Jared Reclatus. The ace in a little bit of trouble here in the top of the third inning. Bases remain loaded. And after hitting Josh Hatcher with the count at 1-2, something that a pitching coach would not like to see. Hatcher getting hit on his back kneecap. As first pitch swing is Danny Wright. That's a slow roller over towards the hole. Shortstop throws it to third base, but not in time. As now it appears that Nick Brooks on the slide is a little injured. Might have tweaked his ankle as he's checking now, and manager Ben Taylor right next to him. He looks to be all right. He's going to try to walk this off. But sliding in was Nick Brooks. He pats Ben Taylor on the shoulder. Appears he's all right. Danny Wright's not to be lost in all that. RBI single, Miners 3, Chinooks nothing.
And nice placed hit by Danny Wright, a slow roller. Anytime you can put it in between the shortstop and third base gap, especially with bases loaded, it should do some damage, and it did.
Bases remain loaded as only 1 run scored, and now Tyler Bassetti at the plate. Bassetti 0 for 1 on the day, 0 for 5 in the playoffs as he takes a fastball high from Jared Reclatus. 1 ball and no strikes. The Miners nickeling and diming the Chinooks here. Spencer Henson reached base with an infield single. Danny Wright, a slow roller towards the hole on the left side. Shortstop Gregory Osuna did a nice job blocking it off, but could not find a base to throw to in time. As now the count is at 1 ball and 1 strike to Tyler Bassetti. Bassetti again looking to find some success against the Chinooks as he swings through at this curve ball. Foul ball over the press box. 1-2 the count. Bassetti batting .161 against the Chinooks. 4 RBIs, 4 walks, and 11 strikeouts. As there's still 1 out here on the top of the third inning, bases are loaded. Nick Brooks at third, Josh Hatcher at second, and on first is Danny Wright. Tyler Bassetti swings through on an off-speed pitch from Jared Reclatus. Bassetti 0 for 2 now on the day, and Drew Swift looking to get his second hit of the day as he stands in at the plate.
Real nice breaking ball from Jared Reclatus right there. Really had Bassetti questioning if he should swing at it, and when he did, it was just well too late. So Bassetti will just have to shake it off and work the next at-bat.
Drew Swift 1 for 1 against the Chinooks, 9 for 41. 220 average, as the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses high and in for ball 1. For Swift, he's been known to get the job done for the Miners, had 17 RBIs during the regular season, scored 21 times. As the 1-0 is swung on, slow roller over towards shortstop Gregory Osuna, who's going to have to hurry. The throw is offline. It's another error for Osuna, the 16th. Into score is Josh Hatcher, who looks to be hobbling a little bit, running in from the bases. Hatcher, the first baseman, he scores as well as Nick Brooks. It's a 2 RBI error charged to Gregory Osuna. And it does not look good for Josh Hatcher, who hobbled his way into home plate, and an injury that the Miners cannot sustain.
No, they really can't already with Aaron Walters, the guy that plays first for the Miners and catches out, but rehabbing quite well. Nevertheless, you don't want to lose a guy, especially in the playoffs, like Hatcher, who's had a hot bat.
Runners are at the corners still. Well, now they're in 2 outs here in the top of the third. The Miners now have a 5-0 lead as Kona Quiggle flies this one out to left field, and the inning is finally put to rest. In the top of the third, the Miners, they break this one a little wider as they scored 4. Matsu 5, Chinooks nothing, as the Chinooks come to the plate in the bottom of the third inning. We'll be right back here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
It's the bottom of the third inning. Chinooks at the plate here at Harmon Brothers Field. Miners 5, Chinooks yet to score. Churchill still remains on the mound as the first pitch into Brian Pope is good for a cold strike. Brian Pope, a pitcher turned batter. This is his first at-bat all season long as he swings and fouls it off towards the right side and out of play. A nice souvenir for a fan here at Harmon Brothers Field. Josh Hatcher is at first, in case you were wondering. Hobbling a little bit coming in to score the Miners' 5th run, but he appears to be okay. As a fastball is looked at for strike 3 called, Churchill now has 5 strikeouts as we are only here in the bottom of the third inning. Churchill continues his strikeout train. He struck out the side in the bottom of the second. Leads off the bottom of the third with a strikeout of Brian Pope. And now Andrew Almquist at the plate, who takes a fastball outside for ball 1.
Churchill really dealing against these Chinooks hitters who just can't quite figure him out.
Second pitch missed outside as well. 2 straight balls from Churchill into Andrew Almquist, the designated hitter, who is also now, and again, he's a pitcher. Swing and a miss from Almquist. 2 balls and 1 strike.
And for Churchill, facing these pitchers turned hitters, just got to pound the strike zone and make them beat you.
Another swing and a miss from Andrew Almquist. Churchill quickly gets the count back to 2 balls and 2 strikes. From the windup, Churchill's 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Make it 5 in a row. Ian Churchill has struck out 5. Brian Pope in this inning. Andrew Almquist as well. His 6th strikeout of the day.
And I just mentioned make them beat you. Churchill simply threw a fastball and said, try to hit it, but Almquist could not catch up to it.
Churchill now pitching to Bailey Collins, who takes a breaking ball that did not break high and in for ball 1. Bailey Collins was the first strikeout victim of Ian Churchill. He was the only one that Churchill did not strike out in succession. as now the strikeout streak will be broken regardless of what happens. A fly ball out into right field, ranging into shallow right field territory, making the one-hand grab is right fielder Nick Brooks. The third and final out has been recorded here in the bottom of the third. This game has progressed to the top of the fourth, and we'll throw it over to Brad Walker for the fourth, fifth, and sixth. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks nothing, here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else: childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Caleb Van Blake, infielder from UC Davis, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Welcome back into Palmer of Game 2 of the ABL Top of the World Series playoffs. We're in the opening round where the Miners already hold a 1-0 advantage over the Chinooks, but in this ball game they also lead 5-0 as we enter the fourth inning. The Miners will come to the plate even though they're playing at home. They will be the away team today, but the home team if there is a Game 3 tomorrow, as they were the home team back in Game 1. Nevertheless, Van Blake, Henson, and Pinarini are all due up for the Miners, as Rick Latus, the right-hander for the Chinooks out of the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, still working on the rubber. Van Blake is 0 for 2 tonight, striking out in his last at-bat. So he steps up from the left side of the dish as Rick Latus winds, deals, and Van Blake chops this one foul over to the right side, 0-1. Van Blake, who against the Chinooks this season went 4 of 16, did have 3 RBIs, has now had a hit in back-to-back games. So Rick Latus offers in. Van Blake thought about a bunt, but pulled it back, and the count moves to 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody out.
Van Blake not trying to get hit by a pitch like Josh Hatcher. Josh Hatcher got hit in his back leg, his left leg.
Yeah, anytime you get hit on that inside knee, it's definitely going to hurt and leave a mark, and it was really noticeable when Hatcher was moving around the bases. Nevertheless, the 1-1 pitch, this misses low and inside, almost hitting Van Blake on the back foot, but it does roll away, so the count goes to 2-1. Van Blake out of UC Davis has only struck out once in his past 2 games, or 4 games, I should say. Rick Latus 2-1 offering. This one is bounced over to second base. Moving to his left is Van Dover, who throws in time for out number 1. As Caleb Van Blake is still hitless, going 0 for 3 now on the night for the first out here in the top of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Spencer Henson. He's swinging a nice bat tonight as he is 2 for 2, coming around to score last inning for the game's second run, and the Miners' second run as well, as they hold that 5-0 lead over the Chinooks. Henson coming in has really kept what he did in the spring going here in the summer, winning that Triple Crown in the Summit League. Unfortunately, did not get to do that in the ABL, but finished second in most hitting categories, if not first, as he was the second-team first baseman behind first-teamer Jake Veith. As he looks at a pitch blown away with a fastball from McLadis, the count goes to 1-0.
And I'm sure entering the postseason, Henson, he's got an even bigger chip on his shoulder now, knowing that another first baseman is better than him.
This 1-0 pitch has Henson well out in front of it, so the count moves to 1-1 with nobody out, or rather 1 down, in the top of the 4th inning. The Miners looking to make it 8-0 at home this season against the Chinooks, where they went 6-0 in the regular season, and then getting the win yesterday extended that win streak to 7. As Rick Latus misses well outside in the dirt to Spencer Henson, a nice block from Fullerton to keep it in front of them, even though with no one on, doesn't much matter, but always good practice nevertheless. So Henson will step back up to the plate with a 2-1 count. Henson with 52 now hits if you combine his regular season and his postseason totals, but go ahead and give him one more as this line drive gets by the glove of third baseman Jordan Wharton. So Spencer Henson is on with one out in the top of the 4th inning for the Matsu Miners.
Henson is just attacking third baseman Jordan Wharton. It's been ball after ball after ball, just right along that third base line.
And that was definitely a tough play to make if you're Wharton, just out of his outstretched glove, as it didn't even bounce when it got to him before it rolls into left field. So Spencer Henson, his 3rd hit of the night, he's aboard with Austin Pinerini, the left side hitting catcher out of the Gonzaga University, steps to the plate. Pino's had a hot bat as well, 2 hits tonight. He did come around to score last inning, the 3rd run of the ball game, as he looks at a pitch low from Reclatus, 1-0. So Pinerini has now reached base in past 6 out of 7 ball games, thanks to his hit back in the 1st inning, as Reclatus is working from the stretch as Pinerini scorches one foul and over to the right side. So Reclatus, he's been working from the stretch every single inning. The Miners have gotten a runner aboard, with the 1st and 3rd innings scoring for the Miners. In the 2nd, only 1 hit, but anytime you can work a pitcher into the stretch and get him out of that comfort zone of the windup, that's always the goal. Nevertheless, this 1-1 pitch is skied in the air over to the left side of the infield near the mound, and making the catch from third base is Jordan Wharton. That's the 2nd out in the top of the 4th inning. The Miners lead the Chinooks 5-0 here in the opening round of the top of the World Series playoffs. And an F5 will retire Austin Pinerini. That brings up Nick Brooks. He reached on a walk in his last at-bat in the last inning. Ended up coming around to score the game's 4th run, as the Miners currently have 5, leading the Chinooks 5-0. So Brooks steps in from the right side, playing right field tonight. We saw him sort of hobbled up after his slide into third base, but seems to be doing all right now, as the first pitch into Nick Brooks is a breaking ball in the lower portion of the strike zone, 0-1. So Henson on first. He had a single with 1 out in the 4th inning. He's still waiting aboard after Pinerini flew out. So Brooks, with that hit, has now gotten a hit in 12 out of his 16 games played up in the ABL this season, as he swings through a fastball from Reclatus. He is down in the count, 0-2. Brooks had 13 strikeouts in the regular season and did have 1 yesterday for his first of the postseason, but had that solo shot to help the Miners get a victory yesterday over the Chinooks, 5-4. So Reclatus takes a peek at first. Now comes set from his torso. His 0-2. This misses low and in the dirt. Fullerton had to drop to his knees to stop that one. Did a nice job of keeping it in front of him and holding Spencer Henson at first.
And for the Miners, they scored 5 runs yesterday. Chinooks, they scored 4 runs. So the Miners are already at where they were yesterday, even early on in this game. Chinooks trailing behind.
Exactly. We didn't see this early scoring yesterday, so nice to have that today for the Miners, as Nick Brooks will swing through strike 3 and end the top of the 4th inning, as the Miners leave a runner on as they still lead the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks 5-0. We'll be right back on the Matsu Miners Radio Network. Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Aaron.
The Alaska Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect a train. Look, listen, live.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
Ian Churchill toes the rubber for his 4th inning of work for the Miners as they lead the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks 5-0 here in Game 2 of this 3-game series in the opening round of the top of the World Series playoffs. And looking at the other side of the bracket, it has only 4 teams in the playoffs. The Bucks won yesterday against the Oilers in a 12-inning marathon. The Bucks walked it off in the bottom of the 12th as they lead that series 1-0. So the top 2 seeds are ahead in both of their respective series. Leading things off for the Chinooks is the left-handed hitting catcher J. Paul Fullerton, who flew out in his last at-bat, as Ian Churchill has now retired 7 in a row as he delivers a strike on the lower portion of the plate, 0-1. Fullerton 0 for 1 tonight, and against the Miners in the regular season batted .263 with 9 ribbies, so 9 out of his total 14 were against the Miners, but he swings through a high fastball and now is sitting behind in the count, 0-2. Fullerton, a guy that struck out 30 times during the regular season, as the Chinooks led that category with 373 during the regular season. Churchill, he misses low and away as Pinerini sort of had to dive to stop that one from going to the backstop. So the count goes to 1-2. Fullerton elects to not wear batting gloves while batting, much like some of the Matsu Miners as well. Churchill's pitch is fouled off and over to the right side, so we'll stay at a 1-2 count.
Now, to go back to your strikeout comment, I mean, the 300-plus strikeouts compared to the Miners at 256, just to show you the first-place team and the fourth-place team, the difference.
And it really is a wide margin as Churchill misses well outside. The count goes to 2-2. And also, if you want to talk about differences, the run category as well, the Miners 207 in the regular season, the Chinooks 154, so a 53-run difference, and it's definitely showed tonight as the Miners lead 5-0. As this one's a soft liner into shallow left field, but Drew Swift quickly moves back and makes the catch for out number 1.
And Swift just doing a nice job keeping track of the ball while it's in the air. Got to a position on the field where he could keep the ball in front of him, did not have to go over the shoulder to make the catch, and just doing a nice job.
And definitely another reason why Drew Swift is a deserving Gold Glove winner in the ABL this season. So 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning, Miners leading 5-0. Jordan Wharton steps up to the plate from the right side. He looks at an off-speed pitch high. The count goes to 1-0. Wharton is the only man to reach for the Chinooks as he reached on a walk back in the 1st inning. Churchill misses inside. The count goes to 2-0. So Churchill, still struggling to find the zone, has thrown 6 straight balls to Jordan Wharton in his 2 at-bats, and this will be the first strike as it's fouled straight back to the cage. So the count is 2-1. Churchill, not a guy that walked a lot of people during the regular season, only 9, as he's only walked Jordan Wharton tonight. A guy that we mentioned, 44 strikeouts over the regular season is very impressive. So he winds, fires. This one swung on and missed. The count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. Bottom of the 4th inning, rather. As Church is trying to extend his streak, scoreless inning streak, as this 2-2 pitch misses inside to Jordan Wharton. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Churchill now has worked 12.2 innings pitched without allowing a run, so he looks to continue that. As Wharton checks at a high fastball. They check down to first. Brad Polk said he did not go, so Wharton is on for the 2nd time tonight due to a walk.
Wharton just giving Churchill trouble, and your number 3 batter's got to be the best batter in the lineup, and Wharton just doing that.
And best even patient as well, as he was top in the ABL with 25 walks drawn during the regular season, as that is now his 2nd tonight. So Churchill misses high with a fastball, and Austin Pinerini will want to have a chat with him, as Churchill's been pretty dominant to every batter in the Chinooks lineup except Jordan Wharton, as Luke Van Dover steps up to the plate from the right side. The 2nd baseman flew out in his first at-bat back in the 1st inning. Van Dover out of Harding University, who had an 0-for in the regular season finale, 0 for 4, as Van Dover hit into a big double play in the 8th inning to halt a Chinooks run, as he swings through a big fastball from Ian Churchill. The count goes to 1-1. So Van Dover, a guy only 1 hit in his past 7 at-bats, make it 8, but has not struck out in his past 3 games, so doing a nice job of getting the ball in play, just unfortunately not in the right spots. So Churchill working from the stretch, only the 2nd time he's done so tonight, has Van Dover clipping it on the bottom of his bat and sending it to the backstop. So yet again, Ian Churchill had in the count 1-2, as he looks for his 7th strikeout tonight. If he could do so, it'd only be in 4 innings of work. So Churchill, a long look in, takes a deep breath, comes set from his chest, his pitch. This one is popped just behind us in the press box, so the count will remain 1-2. And Churchill, he's been pretty dominant in his past 2 starts. He is 2-0 in that span and 14 innings pitched only allowed 3 runs, all of them earned, and that was in his 2 starts ago. Only 3 walks in a combined 17 strikeouts. So doing much of what we're used to Ian Churchill is today, as he misses high with a breaking ball, 2-2.
Just the consistency out of Ian Churchill. Every time he steps on the mound, it's something great to see, and especially great to see out of a starting pitcher.
It really is. And the Miners, they're 9-0 when Church takes the rubber, so they're really confident when they hand him the ball. As Luke Vandover still fights to stay alive in this at-bat, fouling it back, we're still sitting at a 2-2 count here in the bottom of the 4th inning with the Miners atop of the Chinooks 5-0. Jordan Wharton is on first base. He reached in the last at-bat on a walk. So Ian Churchill still working against Vandover. Long look in, kicks, deals. It's Vandover to swing and miss at a 2-seam fastball for strike number 3, now number 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Churchill now 7 strikeouts tonight. So Churchill really feeling it, as in his last start, he had 11 strikeouts, so well over halfway to that total and just about half as many innings as well, as he went 7 in his last start. So nevertheless, 2 down, bottom of the 4th inning, as Nick Kreitzer steps up to the plate, as he looks to possibly drive in a run for the Chinooks with a man on first. As this first pitch has Kreitzer well in front of the fastball, 0-1. Kreitzer tonight, he struck out in his only at-bat in the 2nd inning, the left-handed hitting first baseman, who had a solo home run in yesterday's game, as Vandover, who did not read Churchill's move very correctly, was on the go when Churchill threw over to first, so Josh Hatcher will easily throw to second, where Drew Swift is there to apply the tag for out number 3. Excellent pickoff move for Ian Churchill, as yet another scoreless inning pitched. The Miners 5, Chinooks nothing, as we head into the 5th inning on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
And the Ad Council.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
So the Chinooks starter, Jared Ricolatis' day is over as we move into the 5th inning with the Miners on top of the Chinooks 5-0. The new pitcher for the Chinooks is the left-handed thrower out of Las Vegas, Nevada and Shasta College, Anthony Becerra. Becerra, in the regular season, appeared in 8 games, went 24 2/3 innings, had a 9.12 ERA, and had a record of 1-5. So actually, the last time we saw Becerra was in a start on July 22nd, in which all of his appearances were starts against the Miners, where he was the losing pitcher, only pitched an inning, but allowed 5 runs, 4 of them being earned on 4 hits, where he saw 10 batters. He'll be seeing Hatcher, Wright, and Bozzetti due up in the 5th. So Becerra's first pitch to Josh Hatcher nails the lower portion of the strike zone, 0-1. Hatch is 0-for-1 tonight, struck out in his first at-bat, and then was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning, which was an RBI hit by pitch. It drove in the game's 4th run. As Becerra misses outside with a fastball, the count goes to 1-1. Becerra, who works from the wind, misses well outside to Josh Hatcher. 2 balls and 1 strike to the leadoff man. Becerra, he works very quickly. His next pitch is fouled off behind Hatcher, so the count is 2-2.
A nice little change of pace from Jared Ricolatis, huh?
Yeah, Ricolatis, who definitely works quite slowly, looking at his pitch and then a slow wind, where Becerra, right when he gets that signal, he's ready to fire in. So this time a long look in and then a quick wind. His pitch Misses high and away with a fastball as J. Paul Fullerton had to rise to gather that one. The count is now full to the leadoff man, Josh Hatcher, in the top of the 5th inning. So the pitch into Becerra. This one's lined right in between first and second and will roll into right field. And for only the second time tonight, the Mat-Su Miners have their leadoff man aboard thanks to a base hit from Josh Hatcher. So Hatch now 3 hits in the past 2 games, as he had 2 yesterday and now 1 today, is 1 for 2. And that brings up Danny Wright, the left fielder, switch hitting left fielder. So it'll be the first time he's batting from the right side this evening, facing the right-handed Kindrick. Was originally on the left side, but coming off an at-bat where he had an RBI single, now with a runner on first. So Becerra will have to work from the stretch. His first pitch is fouled, straight back, 0-1. Danny Wright, that is his first RBI of the postseason, where he had his first 4 RBIs in the first 4 games and only 1 since that time. So now 2 RBIs with a combined total of 6. Becerra checks over at first, but Hatcher, not a real aggressive lead, gets back in time. So Becerra will look in, will come set from his waist. Kick, deal, and miss just inside to Danny Wright. The count goes to 1-1. Becerra, the only time facing the Miners was in that 1 start, as he has allowed 4 more runs in 6 out of his 8 starts. So really didn't have the summer campaign as he would have liked, but can come up big here as the Chinooks are trailing 5-0. But he nails the outside corner with a fastball. The count goes to 1-2. Danny Wright, guy only struck out 18 times this season, walked 11, is down the count 1-2. Wright batting from the right side with that bit of an open stance. As he taps this one over to first, Kreitzer touches first and then thought about throwing to second, but decided to hold it. So the first out of the inning is recorded thanks to a 3-U, as that will move Josh Hatcher into scoring position with only the 1 out, as Tyler Bozzetti will step up to the dish from the right side. Bozzetti has sent 1 out against the Chinooks back at their place in a unfortunately losing effort for the Miners, but did have 4 RBIs in the regular season against them. So Hatcher on second, Bozzetti in at the dish. Bozzetti is 0 for 2 tonight, and now has not had a hit in his past 6 games, 0 for his last 17 at-bats, but could break that streak in a nice way here with a runner in scoring position. This one fouled straight back to the backstop. The count goes to 0-1. Bozzetti, the third baseman out of the University of Nevada, Reno in Vacaville, California, as he had 2 strikeouts in yesterday's ball game, and now has had 7 in his past 6 games. Becerra working from the stretch. This one is poked out into shallow center field. Collins is moving in fast, but he won't be able to get to it, and I'll have to play it on the hop. And Tyler Bozzetti ends the hitless streak in his 18th at-bat and moves Josh Hatcher over to third base in the top of the 5th inning, with the Miners leading 5-0.
And for Bozzetti, you knew that he was just so good that he's going to get a hit one time or another. You know that his season wasn't over yet. He hasn't packed it in yet. Bozzetti's going to come out here, come out firing during these last couple games.
And Bozzetti, a guy, he had hits in his past 13 of 14 games just before the hitless streak, so we know he can put it together. It's just a matter of when and where. Nice hit there, puts runners on the corners. Only 1 out in the top of the 5th inning as Drew Swift steps up to the plate. He's reached in both of his at-bats as he reached on an error, but it was an RBI back in the 3rd inning. So the first pitch to Drew Swift nails the lower portion of the plate, 0-1. Miners are trying to sweep the Chinooks here in Game 1 of the opening round here in the top of the World Series playoffs against the Chinooks, as Drew Swift bounces this one straight up the middle. Second baseman Vandover touches second and throws over to first in time for the double play, and that'll end the top of the 5th inning. So the Miners leave 1 on, but still lead the Chinooks 5-0 as we head into the home half of the 5th on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else: childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
After Drew Swift grounded into a 4-3 double play to end the top of the 5th inning, we bring you into the bottom of the 5th, where the Miners lead the Chinooks 5-0 in the second game of the opening round of the top of the World Series playoffs. The Miners trying to get the sweep, which would guarantee an off day tomorrow, but the Chinooks trying to bring it to a Game 3, but they'll have a tall task ahead of them with only 5 runs to get in 4 innings of work. Ian Churchill still on the mound for the Miners as he delivers a strike on the lower part of the zone to Nick Kreitzer, who struck out in his only at-bat in the second inning. So Church, working from the wind, gets Kreitzer to pop it just behind us in the press box. Pinarini thought about racing after it, but realized he would have ran out of room. Kreitzer, a guy that struck out heavily for the Chinooks this past season with 40. That was his first in the postseason in his first at-bat as Churchill misses well outside. The count goes to 1-2. Churchill, coming off his 7th strikeout to end the 4th inning, has been dealing quite well, only allowing those 2 walks. So a lefty-on-lefty matchup in the bottom of the 5th. Churchill winds, delivers. This one is lined straight back and into the box. So the count will stay at 1-2. Kreitzer batting from the left side. And if you include the regular season, he has had 6 RBIs in his past 5 games. So a real hot bat. My partner mentioned it early in the broadcast. Jeff Erlab, the pitching coach, said we got to find a way to get him out. They did a good job in the first at-bat, and right now Churchill's ahead 1-2. And yet again, he gets Kreitzer swinging through, this time on a breaking pitch. So the first out of the inning is a strikeout to Nick Kreitzer. Ian Churchill up to 8 strikeouts on the night. That's only 3 away to tie his total from his last start. And if you combine his regular season now with his postseason, it's 52. So really dealing quite well tonight.
Churchill trying to climb the ladder and become the strikeout king. Just a couple games too late. His regular season's already over.
Exactly. It doesn't matter now, though. It's the postseason, so anytime you can start dealing, your team will definitely enjoy it as Ozuna looks at a strike on the lower inside corner. 0-1. Ozuna batting from the right side of the dish. The right-handed hitter out of Wayland Baptist University looks at another called strike, so he's down in the count 0-2. He did strike out in his first at-bat in the second inning. So Churchill, his 0-2 pitch, this hits off Pinarini's right knee pad and will roll over into the Chinooks dugout on the left side. So the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes to Gregory Ozuna with 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning.
And it would have been interesting to see how many strikeouts Ian Churchill with a full season could have gotten. Of course, Churchill coming in late. But again, been very successful for the Miners. They're glad to have him.
Exactly. Successful is the word to use as Churchill misses high with a fastball, 2-2. Miners 9-0 when Churchill pitches, looking to make that number 10 tonight. Ozuna, he swings at a high and inside pitch. It goes foul over to the right side, so we'll stay at a 2-2 count. As the Miners, they've won 8 out of their last 9 playoff games, looking to make it 9 out of 10. That lone loss coming in the top of the World Series last year in Game 2 against the Bucks. So the Miners en route to their possible 3rd straight ABL title. They need 3 more wins to do so. Ozuna, he lines this one into left field. Racing back is Danny Wright. That'll get over his head and run hop the wall. Ozuna quickly into second standing. He has the first hit of the night for the Chinooks. So the no-hitter has been broken up by Gregory Ozuna's double in the bottom of the 5th inning. So partner didn't want to jinx it throughout the broadcast and not say it was a no-hitter, but still an excellent performance right now from Ian Churchill.
I mean, 1 hit allowed through 4 1/3. Churchill's just really been dealing, mowing through the Chinooks lineup, and 1 hit's not going to kill him.
And now in his past 2 starts, that's only his 3rd hit allowed. If you include his relief appearance, which came in the season finale, that is only now the 3rd hit allowed in his past 3 appearances. Pretty impressive for the left-handed thrower out of Santa Barbara City College, as he nails the lower portion of the strike zone with a fastball. 0-1 to Michael Barker. The pitcher converted right fielder is now 4 of 14 in his short campaign as a hitter. Ozuna stands on second as the Chinooks are in search of their first run after getting their first hit. They trail 5-0 as Barker fouls this one over to the left side and out of play. Churchill heading the count 0-2. So Ozuna on second, no one covering the bag. Churchill comes set, looks in, takes a peek at second, now motions to the plate. This 0-2 pitch misses away with fastball 1-2 to the left-handed hitting Michael Barker. Barker in yesterday's matchup really saw the ball well, went 2 for 4 with a double, so has impressed as a Chinook from the dish. As Churchill's 1-2 is on the way and misses just above Barker's head. The count goes to 2-2. Have to be careful with Ozuna on the base. He is speedy with 9 stolen bases this season. In the regular season, I should say. Yet to have one in the postseason. So Churchill, the count is 2-2. Looks over at second, now goes to the plate. This one is chopped over to first base into the glove of Josh Hatcher, who will take it himself for out number 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. That will advance Gregory Ozuna over to the third base, so the Chinooks' first run is only 90 feet away, but they only have 1 out to work with in the 5th inning. So Brian Pope, the pitcher converted left fielder who took his first at-bat of the season back in the 3rd inning. What a time to do it in Game 2 of the opening round of the Top of the World Series playoffs. Nevertheless, he looks to try to possibly bring in a big run here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th as the Miners lead the Chinooks 5-0. Ian Churchill has pitched well, only out 1 hit to Gregory Ozuna this inning. Other than that, he has retired everyone in the Chinooks order except Jordan Wharton, who he has walked twice. So Churchill winds, deals, misses inside to Brian Pope. I mentioned struck out back in the 3rd inning. Pope, typically a pitcher for the Chinooks, as he actually started in the regular season finale against the Pilots. As Churchill misses high, the count goes to 2-0. As the Chinooks had to win that game to get into the postseason, and they did, as they had to win actually their final 2, and did win both of those games. So here they are facing the Miners as the 4 seed. A hefty cut from Brian Pope has him now in the count 2-1. Here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So Churchill, who's only allowed 1 run or less in his past 7 of 8 appearances, misses high with a fastball. The count is now 3-1. But in the nevertheless, the count is 3-1. Bottom of the 5th inning. Churchill working from the wind, gets Pope swinging through a fastball. The count is now full with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Churchill has only allowed 2 runs, both of them being earned in 2 appearances this season against the Chinooks, as one of them was a start. So Churchill, his payoff pitch just misses inside, so Brian Pope will take his base, as that is the 3rd walk issued tonight from Ian Churchill in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the Chinooks now have runners on the corners, the first time tonight that they have multiple base runners aboard, here in the bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks nothing, as that'll bring Andrew Almquist, the designated hitter, to the plate, the 9 batter. But before he'll get a chance to take an at-bat, Jeff Erlab will take a mound visit. And Churchill, who didn't really get regular rest after his last start on July 24th, appeared 5 days later where he went 2 1/3, did not allow any runs on no hits, and he struck out 2 facing 7 and was the winning pitcher against the Bucks. So sort of a weird schedule for Churchill. Has to be, so it's interesting and arm treatment nevertheless. And it's got to be a little weird for Churchill. Well, yeah, essentially is what I'm trying to get out of this.
Against the Bucks, though, we were talking to Jeff Erlab about it. It was going to be a day where Churchill was going to pitch aside and just kind of work off the bullpen and kind of just, get into a groove, his daily routine. But instead of throwing in the bullpen, he throws live in a game. So it kind of just worked out in the Miners' favor there, as the Bucks game and Churchill's side was on the same day.
So it wasn't exactly a controlled side, considering it was a live one, but Churchill, an excellent performance in that game. I mentioned the 2 1/3 scoreless innings, was the winning pitcher. So it was a huge performance to give the Miners the 1 seed as they had to win that regular season finale. So Almquist steps in from the right side looking at a ball high and away from Churchill. The count goes to 1-0. So Ozunia's on third. He doubled with 1 out in this inning, and then advanced to third on the ground out from Michael Barker, and then Brian Pope is on first after walking in the last at-bat. Churchill misses just high and outside. The count goes to 2-0. So Churchill struggling to find the command after Jeff Erlab met with him on the mound. So working from the stretch is Churchill, only for the 3rd time tonight, as he gets Almquist swinging through a fastball. The count goes to 2-1.
And for Churchill, back in his mind, he needs to know that he threw a couple fastballs right by Andrew Almquist to get the strikeout. So that's what he has to do right here.
And he delivers a nice changeup low and inside that has Almquist whiffing. So the count moves to 2-2. Almquist striking out back in the 3rd inning. Now is 0 for his last 4 at-bats with 2 strikeouts. So Churchill trying to make it 3. Churchill looks in. His 2-2 pitch is high. The count will yet again to another Chinook will run full. So Pope will be on the move from first base with a full count and 2 outs. But Ozuna will most likely be held at third. So the payoff pitch is fouled straight back and right over our heads. Good thing we have a window right in front of us, or else may have been concussed. Nevertheless, we'll stay at a full count with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning.
We could be like that viral guy and the computer's broken, but we're all good.
All safe here. Count is full, 2 outs. Churchill's pitch misses high to Brian Pope, so he has walked 2 in a row to load the bases for the Chinooks, as they are doing their rallying right now with 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's the 4th walk issued tonight for Ian Churchill, as there is no one up in the bullpen, but David Avitia, the backup catcher, will make a run out there to start getting somebody loose. So, nevertheless, Ian Churchill will be facing the left-handed hitting Bailey Collins with the bases loaded. Collins is 0 for 2 tonight, flying out in his last at-bat. And against the Miners, he does have 3 RBIs and 10 hits. So he fouls this one straight back to the cage. Churchill heading the count 0-1. Collins, who went 2 for 3 yesterday with the double and a walk. And his last RBI actually came against the Miners on July 21st. So he looks to possibly have one now to try to get the Chinooks closer as they trail 5-0. But he'll have to do so on the next pitch as he swings through this fastball from Ian Churchill. Churchill heading the count 0-2. Churchill, after walking the last 2 batters, looks to retire a Chinook and get out of this jam he's worked himself into. So a long look into Austin Pinerini. Churchill comes set from his chest. 0-2. His pitch is fouled off to the left side and out of play, so we'll stay 0-2. Collins did strike out in his first at-bat back in the 1st inning. A guy who did strike out 37 times this past regular season now has struck out once in the postseason. So Churchill will have to take a moment to step off the rubber as Collins called time. Takes a deep breath, regathers himself, taps the plate, and steps back in the box. So Churchill comes set, bases are loaded, the count's 0-2. Churchill kicks, deals. Collins, did he go? They check down to Scott Johnson at second base. He said he did not, so the count goes to 1-2. Nice pitch from Ian Churchill to try to get Bailey Collins chasing upstairs, but he almost bit, but held his tongue, so the count goes to 1-2. Churchill, another long look into Austin Pinerini as they look to retire Bailey Collins. As his 1-2 pitch is lined into right field, that'll score 1. And around third in holding is Michael Barker, or rather Brian Pope. So Bailey Collins delivers big time for the Chinooks with an RBI single with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. That's the first run for the Chinooks and ends Ian Churchill's scoreless streak, as Churchill now discusses with shortstop Drew Swift their next plan of attack, and the bases will stay loaded as that just moved everyone over 1 base.
Well, for Churchill, he's got to get the last out. Of course, he'd like to be the winning pitcher on record, and to do so, he needs to get that 3rd and final out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So Churchill's first pitch is a fastball that misses just high to the left-handed hitting Fullerton. So Bailey Collins delivering in a big way. That's his first RBI of the postseason. If you combine his numbers in the regular season, now has 4 against the Miners. So Fullerton, this 0-1-0 pitch misses low from Churchill, 2-0. So Churchill, this is the first time that he's really been sort of rocked, you could say, of this ball game in the 5th, but it's the 3rd time now seeing Churchill for most of these Chinooks batters, so it makes sense that they're starting to figure him out just a bit. So Churchill working from the stretch. His 2-0 pitch is a fastball that nails the middle portion of the plate, 2-1. Fullerton, the catcher, is 0 for 2 tonight, as he flew out in his last at-bat in the 4th inning, as he did have 9 RBIs this regular season against the Miners, 9 of his 14, and the bases are still loaded with 2 outs. Churchill misses outside. The count goes to 3-1.
And Churchill, I think it's obvious to say, needs to throw a strike here. Doesn't want to walk in a run, but he's just got to dial in. He might be feeling a little bit tired, but he's got to do the job right here.
Churchill comes set. His 3-1 pitch. Nice fastball that paints the outer edge. The count goes to 3-2. So another full count. Churchill trying to get the better of the Chinooks batters in this count, as the score is 5-1 with the Miners on top, but the Chinooks, with the bases loaded, have the go-ahead or the tying run at the plate. Churchill, his payoff pitch is fouled off to the right side, so the count will stay full. The runners will be in motion, so the merry-go-round is in order with a full count and 2 outs. Fullerton trying to come up big for the Chinooks, as he went 0 for 3 yesterday, so now no hits in his past 5 at-bats. Churchill, his payoff pitch. This one is lifted into deep center field. Conequiggle moving back near the track and makes the overhand grab for out number 3. A deep out to end the 5th inning, but not before the Chinooks do score 1 on a base hit thanks to Bailey Collins, his RBI, but they do leave the bases loaded. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 1 as we head into the 6th inning on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Alaskan Railroad and Operation Lifesaver would like to remind our friends and neighbors when approaching a railroad crossing, always expect to train. Look, listen, live.
This is Conequiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Radio.
It's the 6th inning between the Miners and the Chinooks here in Game 2 of the opening round of the top of the World Series playoffs, where the Miners hold the series advantage 1-0 and also hold the lead in this ball game 5-1, but the Chinooks scoring in the last inning. So the leadoff man, Conequiggle, due up for the Miners. Their 1-2-3 batters will face Anthony Becerra on for his 2nd inning of work. Was bent a little bit in his 1st inning of work, but did not break as he got Drew Swift to ground into a double play to end all threats by the Miners. And he'll have to face a tough bat in Conequiggle. He's 1 for 3 tonight, but a base hit in the 1st inning ended up coming around to score the Miners' first run, and also had a 2-run home run in yesterday's contest. So Becerra, who works quickly from the line, Conequiggle softly hits one in the air over into shallow left field, but Gregory Ozuna backpedals and makes the overhead catch for out number 1. Caleb Van Blake will now step up to the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight, trying to extend a small hit streak to 3, as coming into this evening he was 3 out of his past 6, so now 3 of his past 9. Van Blake, the second baseman out of UC Davis, has done well against the Chinooks this season. Came in 4 of 16 with 3 ribbies, as Becerra misses low and inside around Van Blake's toes, 2-0. As this is the Chinooks' only 2nd playoff game in organization history, as Van Blake lines this one foul to the right side. So made history last night with their 1st playoff game, but unfortunately not get the win. So now their next goal would be to get their 1st playoff win, And it's going to be a tall task to ask tonight as they are down 4 with only 4 innings to work with. So Becerra, he misses low with this pitch. It's a hitter's count to Caleb Van Blake with 1 out in the top of the 6th inning. So a lefty-on-lefty matchup as Becerra works from the wind, gets Caleb Van Blake to swing and miss at a low and inside pitch. The count is now full with 1 out. As the Miners lead the series overall from the regular season and postseason 8-4 and have won the last 3 games. The 3-2 pitch is chopped just outright of the first base bag, so we'll stay full. So we mentioned 8-4 as they've won the last 3 and are 7 at home against the Chinooks. They were thankful it wasn't at Lee Jordan Field where the Chinooks hold the advantage 4-1. Nevertheless, it's a full count. Becerra's pitch has Van Blake thinking about it. They check down to first to see if he went, and Scott Johnson at third said he did. So Van Blake is down on strikes for the second out in the top of the 6th inning. Becerra, that's his first strikeout tonight as he had 25 in the regular season, now has 1 in the postseason. But in order to end the top of the 6th inning, we'll have to go through Spencer Henson. He is 3 for 3 tonight, all singles, but still anytime you can get on base in all 3 of your at-bats, it's a pretty impressive feat. So
it is a pretty impressive feat for Spencer Henson. He's been doing great all season long, transitioning from the spring ball over here into summer ball, and just has been a big force in the Miners lineup.
As Becerra misses well outside, the count goes to 1-0. Next pitch into Henson misses low, 2 balls and no strikes. So Spencer Henson just really was a part of that huge hitting offense for the Miners. They led in batting average this season at .256. As this pitch is low and inside, questionable, but called strike by Josh Nolan. Spencer Henson takes a few steps outside of the box, shaking his head, but the count does move to 2-1. So Becerra working quickly. His pitch just misses high and away. The count is now a hitter's count to Spencer Henson, much like Van Blake. Becerra worked his way into a strikeout in the last at-bat. I'll look to do the same here, but he won't get a chance to do so as he misses low and inside to Henson, who is now reaching all 4 plate appearances, this time on a walk. As this has been the toughest part of the order for the Miners, the heart of their order, Henson and Pinerini, they've only been retired once, and it was Pinarini's last at-bat where he flew out. But now with Henson on first, an opportunity to extend this top of the 6th inning with the Miners atop the Chinooks 5-1. Miners 11 hits tonight on those 5 runs. Last night with 10 as well, so back-to-back nights with double-digit hits is always a good sign, as Pinerini looks at a ball low from Becerra, 1-0. Pinerini with 2 singles tonight as he is 2 for 3, so he looks to continue his nice hitting evening, as this 1-0 pitch is a fastball that nails the lower portion of the plate, 1-1. So looking in is Becerra, who's had to work out of the stretch in both innings of release so far, with Henson standing on first via the walk. As this 1-1 pitch is mishandled by Fullerton, but he kept it within range and was able to move to it quickly behind him, and the count goes to 2-1. In the Miners, interesting to see them draw a walk, considering they didn't do it a lot in the regular season. We're 4th with 146, just ahead of the Chinooks, who had a mark of 145. Pinerini a jam job, but gets it to go foul behind him and foul. So the count is 2-2. Pinerini, the catcher out of Gonzaga. A lot of Gonzaga products in the ABL, especially between the Bucks and the Miners. Miners with Brooks and Pinerini. Becerra has a 2-2 count on Pinerini, who lines this one right back up the middle over the second base bag and into center field, where Collins comes in quickly to grab it. And the Miners now have back-to-back runners aboard, with runners on first and second in the top of the 6th inning with a 5-1 lead over the Chinooks.
And that was a great hit up the middle for Austin Pinerini. And for Pinerini, a left-hand batter, the ball slices towards left field. And that's a good thing for the pitcher, Anthony Becerra, because it sliced around him on the mound. If that had been a straight ball, Becerra would be on the ground with a hit on the leg, but luckily the ball sliced around Becerra.
Exactly, and for Pinerini, who got his first hit in 3 games last night, now has back-to-back games with a hit, so starting to see the ball well in an important time for the Miners in the playoffs. As Nick Brooks stands in from the right side of the dish, he looks at a ball low. Count is 1-0, so Henson on second, Pinerini on first. The Miners already with a 5-1 advantage here in Game 2 of the opening round of the ABL playoffs, where they look to get the sweep tonight and have a guaranteed day off tomorrow. So Becerra, his 1-0 pitch is fouled back, 1-1. Brooks tonight is 1 for 2 as he struck out in his last at-bat, but in the prior 2 plate appearances before did reach. So Nick Brooks with that single back in the first inning now hits in 12 out of 16 games played in a 3-game hit streak. So Becerra, a long look in, normally works quickly but has slowed it down a bit with runners on. Gets Nick Brooks to swing through a fastball, 1-2. So Brooks trying to restrain from being retired on strikes in back-to-back at-bats, and also try to keep this top of the 6th inning alive for the Miners. Becerra, the Shasta College product, working in his 2nd appearance against the Miners. His 1-2 pitch is a nice breaking ball, but it started low and kept rolling that way, so it goes towards Brooks' ankles, and the count is now 2-2. Brooks, another Gonzaga guy, with his spring ball teammate, Austin Pinarini on first. Becerra, his 2-2, misses low and inside, so the count is full, so the runners will be on the move for the Miners, so if Brooks can get a hit, it would possibly bring in Henson and maybe even Pinarini. Both move well on the base paths. So Becerra, a long look in. This is an important pitch with 2 outs. The payoff pitch misses inside, and the bases are now full for the Mat-Su Miners as they were retired with their first 2 batters to begin the 6th, but have gotten the past 3 aboard. So Josh Hatcher with ducks on the pond.
And Hatcher, he just seems to find himself in these big RBI situations, bases loaded, and with the Chinooks scoring 1 run back in the bottom of the 5th, it would be nice to see the Miners score back and get back to that 5-run lead.
So Hatcher is coming off a hit in his last at-bat in the 5th inning as he takes a takes a ball high and in around the lettering. Count is 1-0. That will call a mound visit from J. Paul Fullerton. Becerra goes well off the mound and kind of kicks around in the grass, maybe trying to get some of the mud out of his shoes. But the bases are loaded. The Miners a 5-1 lead over the Chinooks. There is 2 outs in the top of the 6th inning for Josh Hatcher, who had an RBI back in the 3rd inning thanks to a hit by pitch as he was in the similar situation. This time hits one down the right field line, but just foul into the glove of Nick Kreitzer, so the count goes to 1-1. Hatcher, with the bases loaded in the 3rd inning, got hit by a pitch and had an RBI hit by pitch, actually, to drive in the game's 4th run, as the Miners have not scored since that 3rd inning, where they scored all 5 of their runs in the first 3 innings played. So Becerra, his 1-1 into Hatcher is a breaking ball that is blocked by Fullerton. It'll roll just over to the left side and over the right side batter's box. The count is 2-1. So back-to-back walks for Anthony Becerra, who walked 16 batters in the regular season in 8 of his starts, as this 2-1 is popped into center field, or rather the middle of the infield, where Gregory Ozuna makes the catch just near second base bag. So we'll move into the bottom of the 6th inning after the Chinooks get out of a bit of a jam. The Miners leave them loaded, and they still lead 5-1 over the Chinooks on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey y'all, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else, childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Ian Churchill, pitcher for the Miners from Santa Barbara City College. Giving a little shout out to all the SB Lokes out there. You're listening to Miners Radio.
It's the Miners 5 and the Chinooks 1 as we head into the 6th inning, or the bottom of the 6th inning here at Herman Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska, of Game 2 of the opening round of the ABL playoffs. The Miners took Game 1 5-4 over the Chinooks, so they look for the sweep today as Noah Cordova is the new man on the mound for the Miners. As Ian Churchill's day is over, he is in line for the win after going 5 innings, only allowing 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned, and only walked 4 but struck out 8. So Churchill now against the Chinooks has gone 16 2/3 innings, only allowed 3 runs, all earned, and only 10 hits. And now in his past 2 appearances, only allowing 1 run in 9 1/3 innings pitched. Nevertheless, Noah Cordova on the mound, the right-hander out of Chandler Gilbert Community College, but is a Cal State Bakersfield signee. He appeared in 15 games this past regular season and had a 3.48 ERA in 20 2/3 innings pitched. He'll be facing Jordan Warden, who bats from the right side, so righty-on-righty matchup, as Cordova misses low and away, 1-0. Cordova works from the stretch. This one is lined just over the head of Drew Swift, the shortstop, into left center field. Kona Quiggle will run up to make that gather as Jordan Wharton is aboard with a base hit. And I tell you what, partner, Wharton has been impossible to get out today. 2 walks and now a single.
Yeah, he's been causing all sorts of trouble for the Miners pitching staff, Churchill, and now Noah Cordova.
So I'll bring up Luke Vandover. He is 0 for 2 tonight, but a runner on first with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning as the Chinooks trail 5-1. Cordova misses low and away with a fastball, 1-0. Back to Cordova. His last appearance came on July 26th against the Bucks as his 1-0 pitch nails the upper portion of the strike zone, 1-1, where he went 1 1/3, gave up 1 hit, two walks and a strikeout with 2 runs allowed, both of them being earned. So Cordova, the tall righty, stands at a 6-6 on the mound. He misses high with a 2-seamer, 2-1. Vandover trying to bat around Wharton, who just led things off with a single, as he is now 1 for 1 tonight before drawing 2 walks. This one is a hard hit ball over to third, but the throw to second in time. Now the relay to first is in time for out number 2. Nice 5-4-3 double play for the Mat-Su Miners. Gets 2 outs and 1 pitch here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Yet again, the Miners make a routine double play look routine here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That defense has been so swell all season long for the Miners, as that'll bring up Nick Kreitzer. He is 0 for 2 tonight, who struck out in both of his at-bats. The left-handed hitting first baseman now steps up to the dish. Cordova's first pitch has Kreitzer swinging as he fouls this one out of play to the left side. 0-1. Mentioned Kreitzer with the 2 strikeouts as he struck out 40 times in the regular season. Clip for the Chinooks, which was 373. And against the Miners, who led the league in strikeouts at 350, they have to be a little more patient, if not a little more poised at the plate. So Nick Kreitzer takes one high, 1-1. Noah Cordova, this is his 5th appearance against the Chinooks, as this 1-1 was sort of held on too long for Cordova as he misses well inside. The count goes to 2-1. Noah Cordova, in 4 appearances this year against the Chinooks, has went 4 1/3, gave up only 1 run, which was earned on 3 hits, and did strike out 1 as well against the Chinooks as he misses outside. It's a now hitter's count against Nick Kreitzer, the left-handed hitting first baseman, who looks to follow up with a hit after Luke Vandover just grounded into a double play. So Cordova, his 3-1, this one lined into right field. It'll get all the way to Nick Brooks, who moves over to his left to scoop it up. In a 2-out single for Nick Kreitzer is this 2nd hit in the bottom of the 2nd inning. 6th inning, rather. So Kreitzer now is 4 out of his last 7 in these past 2 games, as he went 3 for 4 yesterday against the Miners, so has started this postseason on a high note and is looking to possibly extend it to another game for the Chinooks, but they trail 5-1 currently, as this pitch into Ozuna is popped into center field. Kona Quiggle diving in. Did he make the catch? Scott Johnson said it hit the ground right before it entered Conequiggle's glove as he had the smile on his face. He tried to play it off and say it was a catch, but you could see a little bump in the white ball out in the outfield. So Ozuna is now on with his second hit of the night as he had a double in his last at-bat. So now the Chinooks in back-to-back innings putting together a threat with back-to-back singles here in the 6th as they trail 5-1 here in Game 2 of the opening round of the ABL playoffs. This will call a mound visit by pitching coach Jeff Erlab to talk to Noah Cordova, who has allowed now 7 hits in his past 6 appearances. Has been struggling a little bit of late, but has been a lockdown guy ever since moving to that bullpen rotation after his first start, in which the Electric Factory has done quite well, especially yesterday, shutting down after Jonathan Guardado only went 4 2/3 and giving up the 4 Chinook runs. But the bullpen did their job in order to get the Miners the win. So it'll bring up the left-handed hitting Michael Barker, who's 0 for 2 tonight. First pitch to Barker is a fastball that nails the lower inside part of the plate for strike 1. You would have to imagine that conversation with Cordova and Erlab would be about how these last 3 hitters are pitchers. So just throw them fastballs and see what they can do with them. As this 0-1, this one is hit high in the air into center field. Conequiggle has to take a few short steps back and makes the catch for out number 3 to end the bottom of the 6th inning. The Chinooks, they leave 2 aboard and get no runs as the Miners still lead the Chinooks 5-1 after 6. We'll throw it over to my partner Connor Mills for the final 3 innings on the Mat-Su Miners Radio Network. Mat-Su Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Mat-Su Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, I'm Tyler Bassetti. I'm from Nevada, Reno, and you're listening to Mat-Su Miners Baseball.
It's the top of the 7th inning here at Herman Brothers Field. The away team, which is really the home team, will be coming to the plate. Danny Wright, Tyler Bassetti, and Drew Swift all due up. There's a new man on the mound for the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks, and that man is Cole Whitman. Whitman on the regular season is 0 for 2, an ERA of 4.15 in 17 relief appearances, has 26 innings pitched, 28 strikeouts, 12 walks, and has allowed 31 hits. Whitman comes in relief for Anthony Becerra. Becerra went 2 innings, allowing 3 hits, no runs, none earned, gave up 2 walks, and struck out 1 batter. As now the task is up to Cole Whitman from Pelham, Alabama, and the University of Alabama, Birmingham. 6'4", 210 pounds, Cole Whitman. As now the switch hitter out of Southeast Missouri will come to the plate in Danny Wright. Right on the day, he is 1 for 3. Has grounded out to the first baseman twice, but also has a RBI single. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 1, as a first pitch from Cole Whitman into Danny Wright hits the outside corner for strike 1. Again, Danny Wright, Tyler Bassetti, and Drew Swift all due up here on the top of the 7th inning. As Whitman's pitch, this one misses low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. For the Miners, this is a best-of-3 series in the Top of the World playoff series. Whitman's 1-1 is taken inside again, 2 balls and 1 strike. Miners win. They head to the top of the World Championship Series. And now, 2 balls and 1 strike. The pitch swung on, line drive out into left field, but that goes foul. Foul ball off the bat of Danny Wright. It's a win-or-go-home situation for the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks, who for the first time since 2012 have made it into the postseason. They made it as the AIA Fire back when they were before the Chinooks, as now Danny Wright swings and fouls it back. They do have a title, an ABL title as a AIA Fire, but no title as a Chugiak Eagle-River Chinook. They would have to win 2 games here at Harmon Brothers Field to then have the opportunity to do so. As this one is swung on, found straight back in front of us here at the press box. That'll go down back to the field as it hit the fence. Count as that, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Danny Wright working a good at-bat against Cole Whitman. As Whitman from the stretch he deals. Swung on, line drive deep out into left center field. Chasing back and ranging into the gap is the left fielder Brian Pope. A good poke from Danny Wright, but Pope is right there to make the catch for out number 1.
Just a nice poke there from Danny Wright. Fortunately, didn't get enough zip on it to get it past the left fielder, but the Miners will just have to look to possibly extend this lead here in the 7th.
Now at the plate, a guy who got his first hit in the postseason so far is Tyler Bassetti. Bassetti 1 for 3 on the day, grounded out to third, and also struck out in his 2 prior at-bats to the 5th, as we are here in the top of the 7th inning. Bassetti takes the first pitch from Cole Whitman, just a bit high and inside for ball 1. Whitman did appear in yesterday's game, did not record an out, did allow a hit. As the second pitch into Tyler Bassetti is for a ball as well. 2 straight balls from Whitman to Bassetti, a lefty on righty matchup. The pitch taken inside, make it 3 straight from Whitman to Tyler Bassetti. Bassetti looking to reach for the 2nd straight time on the day. A single back in the 5th, as now there's 1 out here in the top of the 7th, with the Miners leading the Chinooks by a score of 5-1. The 3-0 taken high and inside for ball 4. First walk allowed by Cole Whitman. And now the Miners have a 1-out base runner with Drew Swift coming to the ditch.
And this could be huge if the Miners can get their final 2 in the order to reach base for the top of the lineup to possibly bring up in. And it's 2 fast ones. Bozzetti has speed along with Drew Swift. Swift, a guy that was 2nd in the ABL in stolen bases. So we'll see if the bottom part of the Miners order can really propel the top part.
Drew Swift 1 for 3 today as he takes a high and inside pitch from Cole Whitman. Whitman, of course, not trying to hit anybody as there is no base open. 2nd and 3rd would be open, but first base is occupied. Tyler Bassetti is the resident as 1-0 is delivered. This one taken just a bit high by Drew Swift. 2 balls and no strikes. It was a 4-pitch walk to Tyler Bassetti, and Drew Swift has taken the first 2 pitches for balls as well. 6 straight from Cole Whitman. The 7th pitch is going to be a ball as well. 7 straight balls. 4 of them to Tyler Bassetti, 3 to Drew Swift.
And if you're Whitman, Swift is not a guy you want to walk because he just flies around the base paths.
The 3-0 taken all the way. That hits the low and inside portion of the plate. So says Josh Nolan. Nolan will hear from it from the crowd, but it's going to be the first strike in 8 pitches from Cole Whitman.
Yeah, it definitely looked pretty low around the ankles, but been interesting zone tonight by Josh Nolan.
Miners looking to extend the 5-1 lead as this ball is ball 4. So 9 pitches, 8 of them have been outside of the strike zone, and now the Miners with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning have runners on 1st and 2nd base with Kona Quiggle at the plate.
Kona has definitely been a great bat for the Miners all season long, has delivered in big moments. Yesterday with that 2-run home run, had a base hit to start the game for Matsu, so he looks to possibly drive in yet another insurance run for the Miners.
A slow walk to the mound from Chris Beck as he'll talk to his pitcher, Cole Whitman. Looks like the Chinooks do have someone warming up in the bullpen. Miners, they have somebody there as well. Looks like number 32, Malachi Emmons for Matsu, as Malachi will probably be on to pitch the bottom of the 7th inning. Time is up. So says the Jeopardy theme song played by our PA man, Wolfgang Winter. Wolfgang's been great all season long, and we'll hope to keep having the good times for at least another 5 games at most. 4 games, 3 games for the Miners, as all it takes is 3 more wins for the Matsu Miners to be back to back to back top of the World Series champions. Meeting over, Cole Whitman ready, lefty on lefty matchup. First pitch into Conequiggle is taken on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1.
And for Kona, with runners on first and second and an out to work, 2 outs to work with, you just want to throw something in play. Make the Chinooks defense work. I mentioned earlier, they lead the league in errors, so you really want to see what they can do.
Second pitch on the way. It's a breaking ball, a good one from Cole Whitman. Whatever pitching coach Chris Beck said, it worked. 2 straight strikes, both called strikes against Conequiggle as he's down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. With only 1 out in the top of the 7th inning, runners are on first and second base. Tyler Bassetti with a 4-pitch walk is on second, and Drew Swift saw 5 pitches, 4 of them for balls. He's on first. The curveball bends but does not break into the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count to Quiggle at the plate.
And that's got to be tough for Kona to hold off right there. A pitch that is broken inside in the zone so many times. This time Whitman placing it so it won't exactly drop in the zone, but be good enough to be near it.
1-2 the count. Whitman's pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Whitman has his first strikeout on the day as Conequiggle is retired on strikes. 2 outs now in the top of the 7th inning, and Caleb Van Blake will come to the plate. Van Blake on the day is still in search for his first hit. He is 0 for 4. Van Blake flew out to left field, struck out, grounded out to second base, and struck out again in the 6th. First pitch swing, it's a high chopper over towards second baseman Luke Vandova. The throw is in time to Nick Kreitzer at first for the 3rd out in the top of the 7th inning. The Miners do not score any runs after getting 2 base runners to come across on the base paths in Tyler Bassetti and Drew Swift. They'll leave 2 on as the Matsu Miners still lead the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks by a score of 5-1. You're listening to the Matsu Miners on the Miner Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Conequiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Bottom of the 7th inning, Noah Cordova's book has been closed. Coming in relief for Cordova here in the bottom of the 7th is Malachi Emmons. Cordova on the day went 1 inning, allowed 3 hits, no runs, no earned. No walks and no strikeouts. Zeros across the board except in the hits column where he allowed 3. Malachi, on the other hand, this will be his first appearance in the postseason. During the regular season, did not record a win or a loss as a relief pitcher, coming in 16 times during the season. Has an ERA of 1.89 in 19 innings pitched. Opponents are batting against Malachi at a .169. Strikeouts per 9 innings, probably one of the highest in the ABL at 15. Has allowed 12 hits, no home runs, does not have a save. 33 strikeouts to 11 walks, and has hit 2 batters as we're about ready to start the bottom of the 7th inning. Chinooks down to 9 outs to play with before they are eliminated in the postseason. First pitch on the way, a slider from Malachi. Gets Brian Pope ducking, but it was nowhere near his head. That's just how good Malachi's pitch has been. Pope, in his first 2 at-bats on the season, nonetheless the day, is 0 for 2 as Malachi quickly ahead on Brian Pope. No balls and 2 strikes.
If I'm Malachi, I'm bringing that breaking pitch yet again. Pope hasn't had a lot of at-bats, I'm sure, lately, so has to be tough seeing the breaker.
The pitch taken outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Brian Pope, and no at-bats would be correct. First at-bat of the season happened in the bottom of the 3rd inning, where he struck out looking, he being Brian Pope. He'll strike out looking again here as another slider, 4 straight from Malachi Emmond, is able to retire Brian Pope on strikes. A nice pitch from Malachi.
Tell you what, Malachi just does it night in, night out when he comes in. Striking guys out with reckless abandon. That's always what he's going for, and it showed right there in that at-bat.
Malachi strikes out Brian Pope, looking for his first strikeout on the day. And now Andrew Almquist, who has a strikeout on his record so far, takes a pitch for a called strike. 0-1. Almquist struck out in the 3rd, was a 6th strikeout victim of the starter on the inning. Ian Churchill as a slow roller over towards Caleb Van Blake. He waits on it and throws in time to get Andrew Almquist at first for the 2nd out of the inning. Malachi Emmond, 2 up, 2 down. And now he'll face the top of the lineup in Bailey Collins.
And that's what you have to do if you're the Miners defense. You're going to face these pitchers. You have to get them out. There's really no excuse not to. Unfortunately, if you do, you just have to forget about it. As Bailey Collins, he's one of the tougher at-bats in the Chinooks order.
Malachi against the Chinooks this season, 3 no decisions, as the first pitch into Bailey Collins is taken on the outside corner for a called strike. 3 no decisions, no runs, 2 hits, 1 walk, and 4 strikeouts. So Malachi has been effective against the Chinooks, and for the most of the APL, a bunt attempt by Bailey Collins. He moved his feet, he was dancing in there, but at the last second got cold feet, pulled it back, but it's in there for a called strike. No balls and 2 strikes to Bailey Collins. Malachi with the 0-2. The pitch taken down in the dirt for ball 1.
Nice waste pitch from Malachi. You don't want to put that anywhere near the zone. Already heading 2 strikes. Collins is too good of a header to recognize that, so excellent pitch on missing.
1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Bailey Collins, and for Collins, 1 for 3 on the day, a strikeout and a flyout to right field. He watches a slider go by just outside for ball number 2. Much to the displeasure of the Matsu Miners fans in the grandstands here at Harmon Brothers Fields, Malachi will pitch again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Emmons pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Malachi Emmond, 1-2-3 inning here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Chinooks are down to 6 outs left until the Matsu Miners propel themselves yet again into the top of the World Championship Series. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 1. We'll be right back here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
What's up, guys? This is Spencer Henson, infielder at Oral Roberts University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It's the Matsu Miners 5, the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks 1, as we enter the top of the 8th inning. New man on the mound for the Chinooks will be River Carbone. Carbone coming in relief for Cole Whitman. And for Whitman on the day, went 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Back in the top of the 7th inning as we're here in the bottom of the 8th. River Carbone taking over 6'7", 235 pounds, the tallest man on the field. That's including the Miners bullpen and the Chinooks. For River Carbone out of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and Arizona Christian University, where he was a senior. During the regular season, a 0-1 record, ERA of 4.26 and 16 relief appearances, has 6 saves, 19 innings pitched, has struck out 11 batters, walked 3 of them, and has allowed 22 hits over the course of the 44-game regular season. Spencer Henson looking to continue his day at the plate, 3 for 3 and a walk. The Chinooks have not been able to keep Henson off the base paths.
Henson has just been so good for the Miners all season, is brought into the postseason, and also a great leader trying to will his team to a 3rd straight ABL title.
River Carbone pitching to Spencer Henson. The first ball is low and away for ball 1. Henson again, a single in the 1st, a single in the 3rd, and another one just for good measure in the 4th. Fastball taken on the low and outside corner. 1-1. Home plate umpire Josh Nolan took a look back, saw a ball rolling right behind him. It appears that a wild pitch from Nathan Bach, who's warming up on the Miners bullpen, has rolled all the way back to the fence. Talk about some arm strength there.
Yeah, hopefully he doesn't miss that high when he enters the game.
1-1 the count to Spencer Henson. Carbone's pitch. Breaking ball taken on the low outside corner for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes into the best hitter on the Miners roster in Spencer Henson. Henson, of course, had the batting average title for the Miners this season. Kona Quiggle had the hits with 51. As he checks his swing, will be called out by home plate umpire Josh Nolan. First time Spencer Henson has been retired on the day. And now Austin Pinarini walks up to the dish.
And it took the 4th pitcher for the Chinooks to finally retire Spencer Henson. But Carbone, I mean, he's been pretty good against the Miners. No runs allowed in 5 innings. So he looks to continue that success tonight.
Austin Pinarini, 3 hits in 4 at-bats. He's 3 for 4. Singles in the 1st, 3rd, and 6th inning. Flew out to the 3rd baseman back in the 4th as we're here in the top of the 8th inning, and he gives one a drive out into right field, but camped under it is the right fielder, Michael Barker. Barker makes the routine catch out in right, and now there are 2 outs in the top of the 8th.
And for the Miners, they're trying to make this the last time they come to the plate. They would like to extend this lead outside of just 1 swing of the bat.
Well, again, the Miners will come to the plate in the 9th. It's a weird situation for Matsu Miners as they are the visiting team today. Miners away at Herman Brothers Field, Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks home here at Herman Brothers. So no matter what happens, the Miners will come to the plate in the 9th. And as it's looking right now, so will the Chinooks, as the first pitch from River Carbone is taken on the outside corner of the plate by the batter Nick Brooks, 0-1. A little bit of a weird situation, huh?
Yeah, it is. And the Chinooks doing everything to try to keep this lead of 4. Is River Carbone, he is their closer, been their guy in the 9th inning most season long. So they're teaming whatever it takes to try to extend their season.
Carbone's fastball misses low this time. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count here in the top of the 8th inning, with the Miners leading the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks by a score of 5-1. Again, with the win here, the Miners clinch the series and move on to the top of the World Championship Series. And an off day would be nice for the Miners, as they get a day to rest their pitchers, rest the bats, in anticipation for either the Anchorage Bucks or Peninsula Oilers, whichever team wins the 3-game series down in Anchorage, as that game is going on right now. 2-1 the count, make it 3-1 to Nick Brooks from River Carbone. The Bucks won in the 12th inning in yesterday's game. A walk-off single from Brennan Bro brought home the game's only run. As right now it looks like the Bucks are winning, as a line drive out into left center field. Now get down for a base hit and maybe more. Rounding first and heading for second is Nick Brooks. The ball is now being gathered up by Bailey Collins and thrown in from the outfield wall. Gregory Osuna has got it to throw to third, but standing on second base with a 2-out double is Nick Brooks.
And Nick Brooks gave that ball an absolute ride, a 3-1 pitch that was missed by Carbone. Brooks did a great job of taking advantage of it, turned on it, and showed off that raw power he has.
And going back to the out-of-town scoreboard right now, the Anchorage Bucks 9, Peninsula Oilers 2. So it looks like the Anchorage Bucks in the top of the 4th inning, where they have scored 4 runs, and again a 9-2 lead over the Peninsula Oilers. It could be again another Miners and Bucks top of the World Championship Series. First pitch into Josh Hatcher, missed for a ball. 1-0. Second pitch from River Carbone on the way. A hack taken by Josh Hatcher, who goes down at the plate, takes a knee. It appears he might have tweaked a little something on that swing, as he was way out in front of River Carbone's pitch. He appears to be all right.
Hatcher, with the way his swing works, does a lot of torque on that left knee, so not surprising that it sort of hurt there, especially not making great contact with the ball.
1 ball and 1 strike is the pitch, is the count. Pitch from River Carbone is underway. Swung on and a ground ball over towards shortstop Gregory Osuna, who misplays it. Right under the glove and hits Osuna's right leg, as Osuna has his second fielding error of the day. One was a throwing error, one now being a fielding error. Should this count towards the regular season, that would be his 17th error at the shortstop position in now 46 games. So Osuna, not the most surest of hands, but he's been a steady force in the Chinooks lineup. And now making a pinch hit appearance, something we weren't sure we were going to see. It appears Aaron Walters have made a recovery, as he will enter the top of the 8th inning with 2 outs. Runners are at the corners. Josh Hatcher reached on base with an error from Gregory Osuna, and on third base, moving over from second to third, is Nick Brooks. Brooks, of course, reaching on the 2-out double. First pitch into Aaron Walters is swung on and found straight back. 0-1.
Interesting to see. Walters been rehabbing his knee, and Hatcher has been having trouble with his all night, that they're going to throw Walters into this game. Obviously an opportunity to re-injure himself, but if the trainer said he's doing all right, the doctors say he's A-okay, then might as well throw him in there.
Well, you and I have both been here before the game, and we always see Aaron Walters doing a little running exercise, and has been with the trainer Mary for the past couple days, and he appears to be all right. Again, Aaron Walters tweaked his knee back against the Anchorage Adult All-Stars on Saturday, July 28th. It is now August 2nd. Not quite a week yet, but Walters seems to be all right as he swings through this one for strike 3. River Carbone strikes out Aaron Walters to put the top of the 8th inning to rest, but the Matsu Miners still hold a 5-1 lead over the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks. It's -5, Chinooks 1. We'll be right back here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Aaron Walters from Texas A&M University. I'm a catcher, infielder, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
It is now the bottom of the 8th inning. Matsu Miners still holding on to a 5-1 lead, as now they send another man to the mound in Nathan Bach. Malachi Emmon goes 1 inning, allowed no hits, no runs, no walks, and recorded 2 strikeouts. As now Nathan Bach will come into this game. Second time Bach has appeared in the postseason. First time coming in yesterday's game, where he worked a scoreless inning. And for Bach in the regular season, 3-2 win-loss record, a 1.58 ERA, and 22 2/3 innings pitched. Bach, batters are batting against him during the regular season, 138. Averages around 7 strikeouts per 9 inning, 15 hits allowed, recorded 2 saves. Struck out 18, walked 11, and has not hit a batter yet. For Bach in the postseason, in yesterday's game, pitched a perfect inning against the Chinooks. In 1 relief appearance, allowed 1 hit, and that was it. As now Nathan Bach, Southeast Missouri cousins with Danny Wright, will stand in on the mound against J. Paul Fullerton, Jordan Wharton, and Luke Vandover. Nathan Bach kicks around some dirt on the mound, toes the rubber, and the first pitch from the windup is swung on and missed by Fullerton for strike 1.
Bach, he's been a solid setup man for the Miners all season long. It showed in yesterday's game, so just trying to do his job tonight.
Nathan Bach just cut his hair a little shorter than everybody's used to seeing, as a slow ground ball over to Caleb Van Blake at second. He charges and throws in time to get J. Paul Fullerton. Fullerton is now 0 for 4 on the evening. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. Chinooks now with 5 outs to play with before their season is done. Chinooks, of course, defeating the Anchorage Glacier Pilots by a score of 5-4 to enter into the postseason for the first time since 2012. As now Bach's first pitch into Jordan Wharton bounces in the dirt for ball 1.
And the Chinooks ready to get a rally started with Wharton, a guy that's reached in every single at-bat tonight.
Second pitch for Nathan Bach to Jordan Wharton hits the inside portion of the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. Wharton walked in the first, walked in the 4th, and then got a base hit in the 6th. As now the pitch misses outside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Nathan Bach to Jordan Wharton. The 2-1 checked his swing, but it would be called a strike anyway. Fastball hits the outside portion of the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Nathan Bach, great opportunity to get Wharton out for the first time tonight.
Bach's 2-2, taken low and outside for ball 3. A close pitch there from Nathan Bach to try and get Jordan Wharton for the first time. But Wharton stays alive, and the count has run full.
That pitch looked like it was in the same spot as the last one, so interesting call.
The payoff pitch is swung on and found straight back at the fence. Count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, if you're Bach, you just have to put it behind you and try to pitch into the zone like you know you can. A veteran catcher in Austin Pinerini behind the plate knows how to call a really good ball game.
3-2 swung on, and another foul ball from Jordan Wharton. Wharton again standing in at the 3 spot for Anthony Forte. Forte, the regular center fielder, went down with a hamstring injury in yesterday's game. So Forte, we hope he has a speedy recovery, as the 3-2 is taken in the dirt, and now Jordan Wharton has done a nice job getting on base, as he's reached base all 4 times today. A 1-for-1 day for Jordan Wharton, as he reached base with 3 walks, 2 of them coming from Ian Churchill, 1 from Nathan Bach.
And that shows a lot of plate discipline out of Jordan Wharton in all of those at-bats. But if you're Nathan Bach, you have to put it past you and try to get Vandover to put it on the ground.
First pitch into Luke Vandover's a fastball that hits the zone for strike 1. Vandover on the day, 0 for 3, a fly out to second base in foul territory. A strikeout in the 4th, and then grounded into a 5-4-3 double play, as he takes a breaking ball in the outside corner for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes is the count from Nathan Bach into Luke Vandover, with only 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bach's pitch taken just a bit outside for ball 1.
It was a good placed pitch there from Nathan Bach, just outside the zone, so a tasty pitch to possibly swing at, but Vandover did a good job of holding off.
1-2 the count. Bach's pitch swung on, ground ball over to Tyler Bassetti, that bounces over his head. Bassetti. The ball hit the lip. Bassetti went down to get it. The ball went up. Almost an escalator. Went right over Tyler Bassetti's head, as that ball just took a funky bounce.
Yeah, nothing Tyler Bassetti could do there. He was ready to field it like any typical ball hit his way, but he tried to do the good old Olay. Unfortunately, could not get the leather up in time, and for the Chinooks, they catch a break as they try to make a late surge in the game.
And again, for Bassetti, he just tried to get it, went down, moved his body down, and ball went right over his head. As now there are 2 runners on base. 1 runner in scoring position in Jordan Wharton. Luke Vandover with a single. He's on first, and at the plate is Nick Kreitzer. First pitch into Kreitzer is swung on and flied out towards the left side and out of play for strike 1. Kreitzer on the evening, 2 strikeouts and a base hit, as he's 1 for 3. Was the second strikeout for Churchill, as well as his last, coming in the bottom of the 5th. 0-1 the count from Nathan Bach into Nick Kreitzer. That swung on, line drive out into deep left center field. Ranging back is Kona Quiggle, and he will not be able to get it as it one-hops the fence. Coming in to score is Jordan Wharton. Right behind him is Luke Vandover, and on second base with a 1-out double, trying for third, and he'll get there as the ball bounces away from the catcher, Austin Pinerini. The Chinooks have clawed their way back into this game with a 2 RBI double with 1 out from the bat of Nick Kreitzer. The Miners were able to silence his bat for the most part, but now not so much.
Yeah, Kreitzer pulling through in a big moment for the Chinooks. Now only made this a 2-run ball game. And interesting that it wasn't an interference. The man on deck and Ozuna sort of got in Nathan Bach's way as he tried to go for the passed ball. So interesting he didn't try to make an argument with that. But still, 2 runs were going to score regardless.
There's a runner on third base, and it appears that manager Ban Taylor will elect to go to his closer, who's been warming up for some time now. Bryce Tossan warming up in the bullpen. No motion has been made as of yet, as BT will now make the motion. Brad Polk makes it official. The righty has been called, from southeastern Louisiana, Bryce Tossin will come to the mound. As there's only one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning, this game got a lot more interesting thanks to a two RBI double from Nick Kreitzer. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 3. We'll be right back here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
You know what really gets a party started? Indoor baseball. Yeah, just find a broom or a pool cue, and you can use like anything as a ball. Cans, bottles, shoes.
Hey, bro, toss me that avocado.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb, but if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving, the ultimate party foul. Learn more at ultimatepartyfoul.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is Kona Quiggle, outfield infield from Grand Canyon University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Chinooks 3, Miners 5. Chinooks the home team today here at Herman Brothers Field, as now Bryce Tossin will come in relief for Nathan Bach. Bach, a third of an innings pitched, allowed 2 hits, 2 runs so far. 2 were earned. Should the runner on third base in Nick Kreitzer come around to score, that would be Bach's responsibility. Bach also allowed 1 walk. Recap the innings so far. J. Paul Fulton grounded out to second. Jordan Wharton reached base on a walk. Luke Van Dover followed suit with a single. Then Nick Kreitzer was able to get a 1-out, 2 RBI double deep out into left center field to bring the Chinooks closer to the Matsu Miners. It's now Matsu 5, Chugiak 3. On the mound for Miners is Bryce Tossin. Tossin out of Walker, Louisiana, in southeastern Louisiana. Over the regular season, 1-3 win-loss. 1 win, 3 losses, a ERA of .81 in 22 innings pitched. Bryce was an all-star for the Miners this season and was also voted the top prospect in the Alaskan Baseball League as a first pitch is swung on and missed by Gregory Osuna, 0-1. There's only 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That out was J. Paul Fullerton. Since then, 2 runs have come across to score, and a runner is 90 feet away from scoring as the Miners hold on to a 2-run lead. And now a low looping ball that will go foul. Giving chase was the catcher, Pinarini. So Pinarini ran out of room trying to get the ball in foul territory as it goes over the fence. Bryce Tossin ahead of Gregory Osuna. No balls and 2 strikes.
This would be a huge strikeout if Bryce Tossin can get it with 2 outs needed and a man on third. Definitely no time to allow a ball in play.
The 0-2 swung on and missed. Strike 3. Osuna put into the spin cycle, as now there are 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning with a pitcher at the plate in Michael Barker.
That's just a huge strikeout. Can't emphasize that enough for Bryce Tossin. Another run only 90 feet away, and there's only 1 out. You got to punch 1 out, and he did.
Tossin's first pitch into Michael Barker missed outside for ball 1. Barker on the day is 0 for 3. Struck out in the second, grounded into a fielder's choice, where it was a 3 unassisted as a slow bouncing ball over to Bryce Tossin. The underhand toss in time for the 3rd and final out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Nathan Bach worked into some trouble in the bottom of the 8th. Brought in to clean up the mess was Bryce Tossin. And now the Miners still hold a 5-3 lead over the Chugiak Eagle-River Chinooks as we're headed into the top of the 9th inning. Miners come to the plate when we return here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
Hey, all know, I'm Blake Shelton. I love that country music connects people all over this great nation, but unfortunately so does something else: childhood hunger. 15 million children struggle with hunger in America. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks works to rescue our surplus food to help provide billions of meals to families in need across the country. Join the fight against hunger at feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hi guys, Drew Swift, infielder from Arizona State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Top of the ninth inning, Miners are at the plate here at Herman Brothers Fields. Again, Chinooks are the home team, Miners are the away team in Game 2 of the Top of the World Playoff Series. Miners again winning this game by a score of 5-3. They have the lead, and now Tyler Bassetti will come to the plate. River Carbone on for his second inning of work. He pitched the top of the eighth inning, and now will pitch here in the top of the ninth. Tyler Bassetti on the day is 1 for 3. Grounded out to third base, back in the second, struck out in the third, had a single in the fifth, and walked on 4 pitches back in the seventh. We're here in the top of the ninth inning. River Carbone to Tyler Bassetti. First pitch is taken inside for ball 1. Bassetti looking to extend the Matsu Miners lead, as the lead was whittled down to 2. That was cut in half with a 2 RBI double from Nick Kreitzer. Second pitch is swung on and found straight back over the press box. 1 ball and 1 strike is the count to Tyler Bassetti.
For the Miners, it's only a 2-run ball game now, so you want to provide cushion, as I would imagine Bryce Tossan's going to head out to try to close the deal in the bottom of this inning. So any runs that could come across would be huge.
The 1-1 hits the outside portion of the plate for a called strike. Now the count is at 1 ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count to Tyler Bassetti. No outs here in the top of the ninth inning. Miners looking to go back to the top of the World Championship Series. Need to get 3 more outs from the Chinooks. Carbone's pitch is swung on and missed by Tyler Bassetti for a strikeout. The 3rd strikeout on the day for River Carbone in just 1 1/3 of an inning pitched. Bassetti retired. Drew Swift come to the plate. For Swift, 1 for 3 as well. Had a single in the second, reached base on an error in the 3rd inning, grounded into a 4-3 double play as he swings at the first pitch from River Carbone and fouls it straight back, 0-1. Also walked on 5 pitches in the 7th. Top of the 9th inning, Miners have a 5-3 lead. Outfield is playing Drew Swift as an opposite hit batter. A lot of room out in left center field as Swift takes River Carbone's second pitch low and away for ball 1. 1-1 the count from Carbone to Drew Swift.
For Swift, you're just trying to get on base here, make Carbone work, and then try to get some rally going, as hitting is contagious for the Miners.
1-1, slow ground ball over towards second baseman Luke Vandover, who takes it on a hop. Little hop in his step is the first baseman Nick Kreitzer as well, but he stays on the bag for the second out in the top of the 9th inning. Miners down to their final out here in the game, but they do hold a 5-3 lead. Would like to extend their lead just a little bit more to give closer Bryce Tossan a chance for his 5-out save.
That's definitely what the Miners want to do. It's already a tough spot for Bryce, but to give him a little bit of help would be huge.
River Carbone from the stretch. He deals into Conaquiggle, whose first pitch swinging, and fouls it straight back to the fence, 0-1. Quiggle is 1 for 5. Had a single in the first, and then a couple flyouts. 1 to center, 1 to left, and a pop out to shortstop. Also struck out in the 7th. As that's the way Conaquiggle's line score reads. As the pitch is in for a called strike. 0-2. Here's a count from River Carbone to Conequiggle. For the Miners, 5 runs on 13 hits, no errors. For the Chinooks, 3 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors. As now the 0-2 pitch. Taken in for a called strike. A low strike called by home plate umpire Josh Nolan. But it's the 3rd and final out for the Miners, and they look to keep it that way and hope to get 3 more outs in the bottom of the 9th. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 3. Closer Bryce Tossan trots back out to the rubber, as we'll see what happens next here on Matsu Miners Radio.
Matsu Miners Internet broadcast is sponsored by the Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and owner Jim Ruda. Stop into one of your locally owned and operated Napa Auto Parts of Alaska and ask about a Matsu Miners jersey giveaway. So stop in and enter for your chance to win today.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer.
It's Josh Hatcher here, infield outfield from Mississippi State University, and you're listening to Matsu Miners Radio.
Bottom of the 9th inning here at Harmon Brothers Field. Bryce Tossan looking to get a save. His 2nd save of the postseason. First one coming yesterday, where the Miners won by a score of 5-4. It's 5-3 Miners here in today's game in the bottom of the 9th inning. Final 3 outs have yet to be recorded for the Chinooks. Chinooks, a must-win situation to stay alive in the postseason and stay here in Alaska. As now Bryce Tossan's first pitch is taken for a called strike from Brian Pope. It'll be Brian Pope, Andrew Almquist, then the top of the order for the Chinooks. Second pitch on the way, swinging, ground ball over towards Drew Swift. He waits on it, the throw, little high, but right on the mark for the first out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Miners 2 outs away from going into the top of the World Championship Series. Bryce Tossan looking to guide them to the 2 outs needed to get there. It's the Miners 5, Chinooks 3, and now Andrew Almquist at the plate. Tossan's first pitch into Almquist. It's a check swing, little roller over to Bryce. The underhand toss in time. 2 outs recorded. Miners, now all they need is 1 final out to get back to the top of the World Championship Series. We've been saying that for a couple times now. It's because the Miners, they've been there for so long. This would be the 4th straight time the Miners would get into the top of the Championship World Series. It's been a big deal for manager Ben Taylor, as well as general manager Pete Christopher. They've been putting together dominant teams year after year, been spending 80%, 90% of their time in 1st and 2nd place, and now with 1 strike recorded to Bailey Collins as he swings through this one, the Miners now 1 strike away from getting there again. No balls, 2 strikes the count from Bryce Tossan into Bailey Collins. Tossan pitching from the windup, the stare in to Austin Pinarini. He's ready and deals. Swung on, a slow roller over towards 3rd. The high hop to Bassetti. He has it to throw in time, and the ball game is over. The Matsu Miners are headed back to the top of the World Championship Series. 4th straight time in a row, the Miners are going back.
Wow, what a surreal feeling. Not only for this team, but for the community of Palmer. Now 4 years in a row they get to support a team that's in the championship. And the Miners, they are in the driver's seat now to possibly win a 3rd straight title. What an excellent performance these past 2 days, and a well-deserved day off tomorrow.
The Miners with the 5-4 victory in Game 1 against the Chinooks yesterday, and now a 5-3 victory over the Chinooks here today. The final line score for the Miners, 5 runs on 13 hits, no errors. For the Chinooks, 3 runs on 7 hits and 2 errors. Again, your final, Miners 5, Chinooks 3, Miners headed back to the top of the World Championship Series. Game 1 will start on Saturday, the August 4th. Miners will most likely face the Anchorage Bucks, who currently lead the Peninsula Oilers by a score of 9-2. It'll be another Miners and Bucks top of the World Championship Series unless something else happens down in Anchorage. Your final here at Harmon Brothers Field in Palmer, Alaska. Miners 5, Chinooks 3. For Brad Walker, this is Connor Mills signing off.